EAGLES, Eagles.
Welcome in, everybody, to a Victory Monday here on Birds 365. The Philadelphia Eagles are back in the win column where they belong. They get the win yesterday over the Minnesota Vikings in a Week 7 matchup and a perfect, damn near perfect performance from QB1 Jalen Hurts. We're going to break it all down for you here today on Birds 365. Don't forget to hit that like button on your way in. We got to get to at least 250 likes today. Johnny Mac, how you doing on this Monday morning, my friend?
Yeah, perfect by NFL rating systems,
Yep.
158.3, which makes no sense, but we'll leave that off to the side. But as good as you're going to play for the quarterback, no doubt about it, which is ironic. We were talking before the game. Not that it was a surprise. I mean, it was pretty evident to us down there last week. The goal coming into this game was to get the running game going, and it goes the opposite direction in the passing game as again, by NFL standards, a perfect game. And that's the term we used before we jumped on here. Such a weird team. Such a weird team. Unique, weird. It doesn't make any sense. And I got to try to make sense of it. They go in the whole game plan, run, get the running game going. Then they're throwing the football all over the lot against the second-ranked pass defense in the NFL. It makes no sense other than it was a brilliant, brilliant performance.
No doubt about it, John. It was really good performance in the passing game. It is a weird football team. The quarterback, is an interesting player to cover. I was joking online. It's like he is his best passing performance of the year versus Brian Flores and the Vikings of all teams. Sometimes it doesn't make a whole lot of sense with Jalen Hurts, but at the end of the day, he delivered an absolute masterclass yesterday, connecting with everybody. Everybody was involved. John Devontae Smith had an amazing game. A.J. Brown obviously had 2 touchdowns in the game and iced the game on that big catch at the end over Isaiah Rodgers. Poor Isaiah Rodgers. You were talking about him pre-show.
Woo! Man. Boy, that was a poor performance. And, there's a lot of talk about Isaiah this week for obvious reasons. And I'm not talking about just getting, like, he was making bad mistakes, like rookie level mistakes on the essential game winner to AJ. The Vikings had the right call on for that play. They had sunk Josh Metellus in zone underneath. And AJ was running a slant and go, stutter and go, whatever you want to call it. And because you have that underneath help, you gotta be careful with that, the second part of the double move. And Isaiah just bit, even though he had the help underneath. That's like rookie stuff. And the Eagles took advantage of it, and deservedly so. But once you have that kind of performance, I think you start to lose a little confidence, and that's what probably went on. But Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown were just unbelievable. And again, you're going to hear all this, well, why can't that happen every week? I mean, look around the NFL. There is no transitive property, as I said on the postgame show. I mean, the only thing that I thought coming into this game, I thought the Eagles were going to play well. I thought they're going to play differently, but I thought they were going to play well, and I thought they were going to win the game. And part of the reason is because they played so poorly against the New York Giants 10 days ago. That's just the way the NFL works. And you button things up, especially good teams button things up, and they're a good team. That's just how it works. Now, the Giants are coming in again. Boy, what a bad loss for them, man. Woo.
That was a crazy finish to that game.
Woo. But they're showing more signs of life. Again, the Eagles are a much better team, but they're showing. But, like I said, bet the under on the perfect passer rating, even though it's the New York Giants. It's a confounding sport, but every once in a while, you just have it. And the Eagles had it yesterday in the passing game.
John, you always have an ability to bring us back to earth, whether down from highs or up from lows. Yesterday was obviously a big high for this Eagles offense. When you look a little deeper, how good was the performance? How much reason for optimism is there that this offensive passing game has maybe figured it out? We've been talking about the damn passing game for a year and a half now. 2 years for crying out loud. What'd you see yesterday in the passing game, John? Because it was a masterful performance. They deserve a lot of credit for that. Jalen Hurts was incredible in the game. Devontae Smith was, he is a stud receiver. I hope we continue to use him as much as he got used yesterday. Maybe not to that degree, obviously, but he is.
They're going to be disappointed in that. No, they haven't figured it out. They had a great game. They had a 50-point game. That's what I compared it to. And you're not consistently. Will Chamberlain didn't score 50 consistently. He did one year, but almost. But Michael Jordan didn't score 50 consistently. You don't play like this consistently. It's not possible. So from that standpoint, if you're trying to carry over this performance, no. No, obviously that's not going to be consistent. I also think styles make fights. That was one of my points coming into the game. I don't think Minnesota's style matches up with the Eagles' style. Even the Giants is the worst team in the NFC East because they're built to compete with the Eagles. They play a better style against the Philadelphia Eagles. And judging by the first game, they're going to let their defensive front go and handle things, and they're going to play a ton of zone. And it's going to be more difficult from the standpoint of not getting those mismatches with AJ and Devontae down the field. So as simple as that. One team's better than the other, but one team's built to beat the Eagles. Like I said, the other team's built to try to beat the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, right.
It's just the way the NFL sort of works. And that's why you always see everybody will say divisional games, weird things happen. They do because you're familiar, you understand the styles, you do
right.
things in that direction. So I thought it was a nice style matchup, but again, it didn't unfold the way I thought it would. I thought the Eagles were going to pound them running the football, and they did the first drive.
And even by the post-game comments, that's clearly what they wanted.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt.
Yep.
There's no. Jalen said it. That was the plan, and all of a sudden, and credit to the coaching staff for toggling and shifting. When you got a guy who's scoring 50, feed him the football. And Jalen Hurts was hot. And a lot of it, to me, the biggest plays of the game where I think was 3rd and 19, 3rd and 13, 3rd and 15.
Yep, all 3rd and longs.
Yeah, Minnesota is I think they'd given up 3 all year, 3rd and long. And they gave up 3 in this game. And it was wasn't on schedule. It wasn't on phase. It was all Jalen Hurts just extending and making a play.
Well, that's where yeah, and John, one of the things I thought that stuck out to me most yesterday about Jalen's performance. Many people will say, "Oh, he made the deep ball." I know he's capable of making that throw. I've seen him make it many times before. Yesterday, Jalen kept his eyes downfield so much, even when he escaped the pocket, and I think that's where he made so many great plays. And one of the things I think he was doing earlier in the year, for whatever reason, maybe lack of confidence in the passing game or the receiver or whatever the case may be. I don't know what it was, but he would just run, and yesterday I felt like he really kept his eyes downfield and looked for the play, and he made the play so many times. I thought that was a really positive, real big positive from Jalen's performance yesterday.
Yeah, that's always been a big part of his game. But that's something that doesn't necessarily carry over from game to game, because a lot of things have to happen. You have to have a pass rush that isn't getting home, a pass rush that isn't disciplined, a pass rush because there were a couple times, if you look at those plays, like he was almost ready to give up because he was expecting the pass rush to be there. And he was expecting to go to the ground to protect the football. And all of a sudden he looks around, nobody's there, and he can extend the play. So, and that's why they call it off schedule. It's not on schedule. So it's not something like the train's running on time. That's something you can't game plan. That's not the game plan. Hey, right. Jalen, go out and make a play, which is basically what it is. So that's the stuff when you talk about the highs and lows, you got to be, you got to be careful with it. You can't just count on that week in and week out. But when it happens, it's not only spectacular for the Eagles, it's demoralizing for the defense.
Right. But the chance of that happening is greater with a quarterback like Jalen.
Oh, sure. Obviously. All those guys.
Game, yeah.
Lamar when he's healthy, Josh Allen, all those guys who can do that. And Jalen's at the top of the list with those guys. It's a big advantage. It's +1. +1 is +1 for a reason.
Yep.
And it's a big help for the Philadelphia Eagles. But when we talk about, the offensive coordinator, play caller is terrible, or we talk about now it's great or everything's fine. No, it works both ways. When, off schedule isn't the offensive coordinator or the play caller. That's just a guy making a play.
Well, speaking of the play caller, let's go there a little bit. Obviously, there was a lot of talk after the game about Devontae Smith calling for that play that obviously he had the breakaway 79-yard touchdown on. How do you gauge that, John? Because obviously, a lot of the rhetoric online is, even the players have to call the plays that work, and
Saquon started that.
Well, the one thing that bothers me with it, John, is like some of it seems so simple to me. Where it's like, if you're running every time you line Jalen under center, the defense going to start to be able to pick up on that. So throw something at them that makes them have to guess. It doesn't feel like it's that complicated to me. Obviously, a lot of people were looking, hey, Devontae called that play to Patullo socks. You know how people are. What did you take of that with Devontae Smith's big play downfield in the comments after the game about it?
Not much. I mean, it's common in the NFL when players see something, they try to impart it to the coaching staff that hey, they're dropping a safety. Every time we do this, we have a shot to take it deep. That's what you want from your players. You want that feedback. Because they're the ones on the field doing it, and they see things often that coaches can't see certainly from the sideline. So A, no problem at all with it. B, you want that. You want high IQ football players. It's good to have that. And when you take advantage of it, that's a feather in the offensive coordinator's cap, to the point of, look, again, one of the things they changed because they wanted to get the running game going was they were under center a lot more. So number one, they're rarely under center. Usually when they're under center, it's a tush push. Well,
good. I have an interesting comment about the under center stuff that I think might be being left out a little bit. Is another reason they were under center is because the center got hurt in the game and Brett Toth can't snap from shotgun or struggles at it?
Well, I mean, you laugh. He struggled with it. A bunch of guys have struggled with it.
Yeah, no, I'm not making fun of Brett Toth. I'm just saying simple.
But Minnesota had a center who's a guard tackle, and he had a bad snap that took the Vikings out of. So that happens all the time. But they were going to be under center with Cam Jurgens more. I don't know, maybe a little bit more to your point. But they were going to be under center more. So those trends, though, of course, when they're 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, they're going to tush push. I mean, so again, the skewing of statistics in the NFL. By the way, we wake up today, Devontae Smith is the 6th leading receiver in the NFL from a receiving yardage standpoint. That's what I'm talking about. Statistics, don't look at them. That's my advice to you. Look at them at the end of the season, and maybe when the sample size is longer. Don't even look at them, because one game can skew things so dramatically. And all we're talking about does that dismiss that we're talking about for 6 weeks prior that the passing game wasn't that great? No. But to a lot of people, it does, because they'll pick up the book and they'll say, "Oh, he's 6th in the NFL in receiving. He had 183 receiving yards, most in the game by player in the game this season, and certainly a career high as well. So phenomenal performance. But I'm just trying to point out that statistics skew things dramatically. But to your point about the center, they were They were trying to get the running game going. That was part of the game plan. It was part of the game plan with Cam. But obviously you shipped a little bit. Maybe, Brett has struggled in the past. So I would say maybe, but I don't think a lot. They also used Fred Johnson as an extra blocker something like 10 times. So maybe in those plays, they would have been under center with Cam Jurgens. So maybe a little bit more, but I don't think drastically.
John, you're not going to like this, but I have to ask it. Should this team become a passing team? Hear me out. You come into that game yesterday, and
I believe they should be I believe it's easier to win in the NFL to play like they played yesterday.
Well, hear me out though. You come into the game yesterday with the plan as stated by all the players that they want to run the football. You have one of the worst run defenses in football yesterday. You still couldn't run the ball well. Saquon Barkley had like 18 carries for 40-something yards. They had 46 total rushing yards in the game. That was the first game of Jalen Hurts' career as a starter that he didn't have any rushing yards in a game. And they make these plays. You get play action a little bit more. You get under center a little bit more, and they're passing the ball well. Now, I'm not expecting a perfect passer rating or 21 or 19 to 23 every single week, but is it time to maybe shift the focus? And even if I know we talk about the quarterback and what he wants to do or what the offense is built around him, but I almost feel like I'd rather do that and see what he's capable of rather than never even trying it. Our receivers are clearly capable. We got a great tight end, and the running game is just not working this year. It's not. We're 7 weeks in now, John. He couldn't run versus the Vikings again. I think it's more the offensive line than Saquon, but still, it all goes into play when you're talking about the running game. I'm wondering if this team has to shift this year and start to win the game this way.
Well, there's two parts to that. My personal opinion is it's easier to win consistently the way they played yesterday, which again was not the plan. But again, it's skewed by the fact that this had a Super Bowl vibe to it. And by that, I mean, not the environment. The way Minnesota played was, we're going to stop Saquon. We're going to stop the running game. As you pointed out, that includes Jalen Hurts. And we're going to leave AJ and Devontae alone. And just like the Super Bowl, it didn't work. And it was a zero-sum game for Flores, just like it was for Spagnuolo, which is why I didn't think people would copy Spagnuolo. I said that a bunch of times because it worked so poorly. And I don't think anybody's going to copy this plan because it works so poorly. And those are two of the best defensive coordinators in football. And so it tells you what it does speak to what kind of talent the Eagles have to be able to toggle like that. But we have the same points. Like, this does not dismiss the consistency problems with this passing offense. Like, if you do it for 3 or 4 games, I'll start to entertain it.
Right. Which is fair, completely fair.
It would not surprise me if they show up against the Giants next week and have a shitty passing game. It would not surprise me because I've seen it.
Right.
Nothing surprises me with this team because they're so weird, so unique. But yeah, I mean, look, I think I've talked about it a lot, and people said, well, McMullen is wrong. They won the Super Bowl, and I was wrong because I think that I'm all about margin of error, increasing margin of error, because I don't want it to be a one-score game. Look, they dominated that football game. And Minnesota was down 21-19 when Jalen made that 3rd and 13 to AJ on the sideline, which I think in a lot of ways was the biggest play of the game.
I agree. I tweeted it out right when it happened. That was an incredible play. That's
because if they punt that football, I definitely think Minnesota's going ahead. They're going to move they were moving the football to 2020, and they have a great kicker. They were going Alabama guy for you, Zander. You should spike the football. That dude's good. But they were going to take the lead. And their defense was playing poorly, the Eagles, but the game wouldn't have been over by any stretch of the imagination. But I think the momentum shifts. So to me, that was the biggest play of the game. And I'm thinking to myself, how is this team in this game? Because the margin of error in this league is so small. So
Right.
any way you can increase it. And you saw it in Denver with the Giants. I mean, they had, I think, a 19-point lead entering the fourth quarter, and they took the lead back, and there was, but there was about just about under 3 minutes left. I was watching the end of that game, and they're running the football. They're being very conservative. First down, they're in field goal range, so they're setting up a field goal to take the lead, and they're going to give Denver 2 minutes or whatever. And I'm like, boy, that's a bad idea. You got to get a first down. You got to get and they just didn't try,
Right.
and it bit them in the what. The margin of error, I say that to point it out, is so small in this league. Anything you can do to increase it, I think, is a positive, and that's why most teams, and that's why Jeffrey Lurie believes the easiest way to have sustained success is to have an explosive offense. Yesterday, they had an explosive offense. Does that translate? No, not. I mean, you got to see it for more than one game against a team leaving A.J. Brown. What about a team that just goes in, has a good front four, and says, I'm just going to play cover 2 all day?
Exactly. Drops a man into coverage. Well, I mean, Jalen was working the seam a little bit more yesterday. I mean that was my favorite throw of the day. The second touchdown pass to A.J. Brown, where it was on the seam.
Yeah, that was a good throw. But again, if you're playing a different team with a different setup, and whose just sole focus is to keep everything in front of them, think old school Tony Dungy Tampa 2. Then all of a sudden you got to be patient, and you got to go down the field, and you got no penalties, no missed throws, no misfires. Not everybody plays the same way. That's why you can't put everything in the vacuum.
Yeah, right. It's tough. It's a tough sport to gauge, John, in that realm. Real quick, John, thoughts on Nakobe Dean's performance out there? Jahad Campbell lined up on the edge a little bit. Defense still has a long way to go. Obviously, gave up quite a few yards yesterday, but did have 2 takeaways. And I'll tell you this. One of the reasons that I've been hard on Jalen Hurts is the only way this team goes the distance this year is if he gets back in the MVP conversation. The run game's not good enough right now, and the defense isn't good enough. Last year, we won with the run game and the defense. This year, we're going to need a win with MVP Jalen Hurts returning to the field. He did yesterday. Your thoughts on the defense, though, John? What you saw yesterday? They did give up quite a few yards to Carson.
Yes, that's 7 straight games. Jeff Kerr is going to get on. He's the stat guy. But that's 7 consecutive games that they've been outgained, and they're 5-2. And it's stunning that they were outgained in that game, but they were. And really, I think it's similar to the offense early in the season. The defense was pretty bad from 20-20, giving up plays, but they made the big play. They made the pick 6, which was Jay Alexander. I saw got the game ball, but that is a Jalen Carter play, man. That is a Jalen Carter play. And
Fangio play too. The way he shuffled that, dropped him back in the coverage. Carson locked in on Justin Jefferson on Andrew McCouba, which he's not wrong to do. But Vic fooled him by dropping.
Well, he didn't see Jelix at all. And Jelix, I mean, that's tough for but he's a former safety, so he's a little bit more equipped to do it. But so I'm not saying it was a great play by Jelix as well, but let's be honest, that's a Jalen Carter play. Who just and Carson, I would not be surprised if he didn't break ribs on that at all if it comes out today. And I think that affected him for the rest of the game as well.
It's going to be easier for that team to go back to J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, well, it's not easy because that you got one guy who's just a roller coaster. Everybody in Philadelphia knows. You got the full Carson Wentz experience.
Really good, man.
The dude makes some plays, and you're like, wow. And then then he just makes some stupid plays, and It's like it's a roller coaster. There's no better, but he's better than JJ McCarthy. They're screwed, basically. They're screwed at the quarterback position, and they deserve to be screwed because I've said that is the worst personnel decision amongst 32 teams in the offseason. Sam Darnold wanted to play there. Daniel Jones wanted to play there. Aaron Rodgers wanted to play there. And I said, nope, we're going with JJ McCarthy. Doesn't get worse than that.
Yeah, that's egregious. All right, we're going to get to Jeff Kerr here in a second. I'll rattle off real quick some super chats. Thanks, everybody, for being here this morning. Eagles, back in the win column. All right. Pieces restored in Eagle Nation. Kyle Studer checking in. JM, how much of the run game troubles come from Steen? Toth struggling. Also, Cam and Landon just beat up. Saquon still shows burst. D is in backfield a lot. Yeah, I saw a stat yesterday. I forget what it was, but their percentage of being hit behind the line of scrimmage was crazy. The Vikings had 8 tackle for losses yesterday.
Well, they were selling out. That's why I said it was very Spagnuolo-like in the Super Bowl, and it didn't work again like the Super Bowl. So, I mean, they were really selling out, and that's because they know they couldn't hold up, playing a more normal style of run support. They're not a very good run support team, but I don't know what to think, but it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. The running game is bad. Individually, you look at the players, the offensive linemen. Lane's playing well. Jordan's playing well. Tyler's playing pretty well. Landon and Cam have been the banged up ones. They were great in pass protection. Great.
Well, they're good and they've been good, decent in pass pro all year. It's the run blocking that they're struggling with.
Now, the back, Saquon specifically, was terrible in pass protection.
Oh man, yeah. With that.
Yeah, I leaned before this game. I leaned more towards the offensive line than Saquon, but now I'm starting to say, all right, something's going on with Saquon as well. He made that little jump cut where he got 4 yards out of nothing. That should have been like a 3 yards loss where he looks like the old Saquon. But there's also, I mean, he's part of it. It's not just the offensive line. And right now, again, really in the entire Nick Sirianni era, they could run the football. And right now, they can't run the football. It's a problem. It's a problem. It's not something people want to talk about today because the passing game is so good. But if you show up, in theory, that Tampa 2 team I'm talking about, if they're out there and they show up and they can stop the run with a lighter front, it could be an ugly performance.
No doubt. Here's Joshua. Give Hurts credit when pressure is on. He answers. Joshua, there's no doubt about that, my friend. Sean says Saquon has always been home run or pretty average. Well, John talked about that before last year, and people gave him a lot of shit for it. Sean checked in again. Off subject, but I think Zach Ertz should make the Hall of Fame, y'all. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I have no idea, but it doesn't feel like a Hall of Fame player.
I think he's very good. I don't think he's a Hall of Fame player.
Hall of very good. There's a lot of those guys. Lauren Crampsey says, the O-line still giving Billy Bob the night Lance Harbor got hurt vibes.
Varsity Blues reference.
Yeah, there you go. Varsity Blues is a movie that I know.
You need Billy Bob up front.
Here's Roll Philly. How's the crow taste, guys?
I picked the Eagles to win. What crow am I eating?
I don't know.
I picked the Eagles to win.
I'll tell you what, everybody should – we need Jalen Hurts to play like an MVP this year. This team ain't going where people think they're going. So he's got to do that week in and week out because –
well, you can't do that week in and week out.
No, but he's got to be better than he was weeks 1 through 6.
Why can't people say that?
I don't know why people can't say that. They just want to be right. So it's like, go eat crow. It's like, no, this is what we need from Jalen Hurts, who you guys tell me is elite every day. We need him to be elite if this team's going to go the distance. JTC's says, grade the safeties. Thank you.
I thought Reed played pretty well, and I think that was the best game Reed's played all season. I thought the outside corners had a lot of trouble with Addison. I thought Makuba had the one big miscue where he missed the tackle. on Jefferson. It should have been like an 8-yard gain, turned into a 40-yard gain. But that's a great player. Yeah, I thought they were fine overall. And they did a good job in the red zone. Well, everybody did a good job in the red zone. Boy, that one holding call. That was brutal, though. So it wasn't quite as good as it looked on paper. But they were still very good. So I think it was a unique game in that they gave up a lot of yards, 20-20, but they were great in the red zone.
Yep. All right, good stuff there. Appreciate you, JTZ. Let's go to the main man. Jeff Kerr set to join us right here on Birds 365. Jeff, you are a Birds 365 fan favorite. He comes here now. Jeff Kerr joining us on the show at Jeff Kerr CBS. You can follow him and read all his work at cbssports.com. Jeff, good morning to you, my friend. How are you on this Monday morning?
I'm like you guys. I picked the Eagles to win, so I guess I should feel vindicated by that.
You got to eat crow. Yeah, I heard a lot of scared people during the week. Oh, how are they going to go there and win? I'm like, this styles make fights. They're going to win the game. Zander can tell you. I told that all week. Now, it went differently that I thought. And the Eagles, Jalen admitted the whole game plan was to go in there and get the running game going. So it's a weird team, Jeff, man. All of a sudden, they show up with this kind of passing performance. There was no evidence that this was coming, but there it is. So how does that translate to you moving forward?
I'm going to back Zander up here on the whole Jalen. I got the numbers in front of me. So Zander says Jalen's got to play like that every week to win. I agree, but this is Jalen Hurts since week 3, by the way. This is the week that they got everything going, the passing game. He is 5th in the NFL in passer rating. He is 4th in completion percentage since week 3. He is 3rd in passing yards. He's 4th in yards per attempt. It's a top 5 quarterback, and that's what he's playing like. So,
all right, now I'm going to attack your level of statistics. Because this game is an outlier. Again, Devontae Smith went from whatever to number 6 in the NFL in receiving yards.
Crazy, isn't it?
Because of one game. This is why football is not baseball. Football is not the large sample size. You have these games where, and I've compared it to a 50-point score in the NBA. That's what this was. This was a 50-point game, score game in the NBA. That doesn't translate to a consistent, 158.3 ain't going to be consistent. I made that prediction on the postgame show, Jeff. There's 10 games left in the regular season. I'm going to take under on 158.3 in all of them.
It's only happened 3 times in Eagles history.
That's why I'm taking the under. So why are we putting stock in these numbers other than to say it was a great individual performance on October 19th in Minneapolis? Why are we giving it more weight than that? Where's the evidence to give it more weight than that?
Well, he still doesn't turn the football over.
That's consistent over a long period. That I agree with. That's phenomenal.
But, I mean, that was the best I've ever seen him throw the ball. And keep in mind, this guy won a Super Bowl MVP. I've seen Jalen Hurts throw the football really well, second half of the Rams game, but that was the best I've ever seen him in terms of getting the deep pass. And when they completed the deep bomb to Devontae Smith, I'm thinking they had that play last week. They had it. And what bothers me about this whole thing, and this isn't a Jalen thing, are you going to give Kevin Patullo credit for that second half? Because he's still the offense coordinator. He's still calling the plays.
Well, that's another thing. Well, even the so on the first drive, the 4th and 4th play, which turned into the long A.J. Brown touchdown, I think it was 37 yards. If you watch that play, A.J. had basically given himself up and just stopped running and then just started again when the pass rush didn't get home because everybody was assuming that this is such a weird team. I'm looking at the play right now. It just happened to pop up. And I'm like, The only person who deserves credit there, well, I shouldn't say only, offensive line. Certainly Kevin Patullo had nothing to do with it.
That was
AJ,
Jalen.
that was all Jalen. All Jalen.
Jeff, should this team become a passing team? If you
I think-
can't run the ball, John said this before the game yesterday. If you can't run the ball versus this team, we got problems.
Yeah,
They
I
could
think
pass the ball versus the number 2 pass defense versus Brian Flores, and they did it to the tune of what they did. Now, I'm not saying he's got to have a perfect passer rating every week, but I am wondering if we need to shift the way this team plays offense as compared to how it played last year, where Saquon's just not running the ball well. It's a lot of the offensive line, but they don't look like they're getting any healthier, certainly not right now. Should we be a passing team, Jeff?
I already said it. They're becoming a passing team. They are a passing team. It's Saquon Barkley cannot get a 10-yard run to save his life. Tank Bigsby can, but Saquon can't.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
he had one that got called back for holding, I think.
Yeah,
had
he
one.
did. And again, I
But it
talked
was
to enough,
legit holding, so
Yeah.
it doesn't. Yeah.
I talked to enough running backs. When you don't get those big runs early in the season, they tend to agree and disagree with me on this, but it's definitely in the back of their minds, like, am I ever going to get another big run again? Because it's hard to get these runs, and Saquon's just not doing it. And their run game is now 31st in yards per carry. It's 30. They only average 88.4 yards per game. This is a passing team by accident, really. They're forced to become a passing team. They ran the ball, I thought, well in their first drive, but then Minnesota stopped it. I don't know if it's the injuries in the offensive line. I don't know if it's the blocking. I don't know if it's the communication. Jordan Malai always says one block away. It might be more than that.
Yeah, I agree. At this point, I'm very concerned. Now, Zander brought up, I said, if you can't, and I did say, if you can't run against this team, it's an issue. I didn't expect them to show up and play the way they played. They did sell out to stop the running game after that first drive. So I didn't expect them to play that way. So I give the Eagles a lot of credit for that's where Kevin Patullo deserves credit. They adjusted. Jalen said that was the whole plan. We knew it in the locker room. We talked to guys in the locker room all week. They were going to run the football. AJ was kind of pissed off again because they were going to run the football. And he made those quotes, I think, to EJ Smith, where he's like, yeah, I almost like he's given up. And then they toggle in game, which I think is, again, everybody talks about adjustments. They adjusted. And it worked out well. Here's my question moving forward. And I don't know if this team exists, but if this team exists, stop the run with 4 up front, get a good pass rush as well, and just play Tampa 2 all game. Can they beat that team? That's what I need to see.
I'm curious about that too.
I mean, if that team does that team exist though? That's
I don't know.
Then it's like, are we fighting a ghost? I mean, are we waiting for something?
Well,
we might see
there's going to be more of that than there's going to be more teams playing zone than what you saw yesterday. But
you're going to see the Cowboys playing in Week 11.
The vast
You're definitely gonna see
majority,
that.
the vast majority of the 10 games left are going to play far more zone than you saw yesterday.
The Eagles took advantage of the Vikings playing man-to-man. They knew
Oh my
Isaiah
God.
Rodgers in the back of their head and said, we're going after him. We're going to see how good he actually became. And I think it was more A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, like, knowing their opponent.
I think I want to see this team just embrace this a little bit more. I understand it's not, we talk about it all the time. It's not how they're built. It's not what the quarterback wants to do, but I'd rather them do it this way and it not work. And at least we know than sit here and try and jam the square peg into the round hole when it's not working and say, oh, they can't be a passing team. Start passing the ball. If it's not working, start passing the football. You got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. You saw what they were capable of yesterday. Now, I know the defenses are going to change, but I still think they can build on this and pass the ball more.
Yeah, I think they are becoming a passing team, Xander. It's,
I do too.
I think it's been like that.
Stats to back it up since week 3.
I mean, they're one of the better passing offenses in the league since then. It's really since the second half of that week 3 game. My biggest concern with this offense was, I tweeted it during the game yesterday, they were like 3 for, I think it was like 24 or something on third down, dating back to the Denver game going in the halftime. They fixed that in the second half a little bit, but they were in a lot of
But
third and long.
did they fix it? Because they converted. Those were the biggest plays of the game. But every single one of them, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 13, 3rd and 15. The 3rd and 13, in my opinion, was the biggest play of the game.
Yeah, that was
Were all Jalen Hurts off schedule.
Jalen was
that-
unreal on 3rd down. 7 of 8, 145 yards. That's
amazing.
unreal.
And they were 3rd and longs, dude. They weren't 3rd and 4.
Yeah.
I mean, we had some 3rd and longs that he converted were really impressive.
You know what? I think that's where Eagles fans really want to feel vindicated because I see it on social media too. Every week, Jalen can't throw. Jalen can't do this. Jalen can't do that. He's not a real quarterback. Well, he proves he's a real quarterback. Then you hear crickets, but then they're like, oh, well, you know, it's easy to do it when you have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. That's why they get upset.
No,
Well,
I'm not saying that. But I do
the
think it's
point.
fair to look. The Eagles need the elite quarterback to play elite week in and week out. I don't think that's bad to say. You know, people are already on me, Zander, eat crow. I'm like, dude, this team needs a quarterback to play elite this year. That's what we need. Last year, Saquon Barkley led us, and the defense led us. This year, I don't think this team's going far unless Jalen is elite and back in the MVP conversation.
I think Jalen's won. I think Jalen's won 3 games for them this year, and that 3 of the 5 I think is on
yesterday. Jalen. Dallas week 1, and what's the third one?
Oh, the Rams game.
The Rams game. Yeah, it was made. Well,
he played well. He played well in the Bucs game too. So we can say that. I mean, look, I thought the game was, and I heard you guys say it earlier, the Vikings were 1 of 6 in the red zone. The defense came up big when they had to. They had 2 sacks in the red zone. Carson Wentz had those boneheaded plays he was making in the red zone. The intentional grab. I mean, they kicked 5 field goals yesterday. I think 4 were in the red zone.
That intentional grounding, the fullback's wide open in the flat. What is he doing?
Yeah. They should have given up a touchdown.
I don't know if it would have been a touchdown, but it was the easiest throw. It was Gruden's banana play. It's the easiest throw. It's the first progression. We all know the progression. We've seen the play for 25 years. It's literally the first progression. It's in its space. It's wide open, and he doesn't throw it. He's a roller coaster. He's a weird dude, man.
I'm going to say this about the Eagles, too. I feel a lot better about them than I do watching half the league. More than half the league.
More than half the league.
I watched some good teams yesterday. One being the Packers. How the heck are they 4-1-1?
Yeah, they're not playing well, but they win.
Micah Parsons bailed them out yesterday.
Now, Mike had a big game, but like, why does that again? I'll take it back to Philadelphia then. Why is it, well, the Eagles win? Why isn't it, well, the Packers win? Because they win, they find ways to win. They find ways to persevere and win games. And yesterday was Micah. But guess what? Micah's healthy. Micah's going to be there. So that's a big part of the process when you play the Green Bay Packers. And that's why I think you're going to, when you're going to learn something about the Eagles, that back-to-back Green Bay, Detroit, that's when I think you're going to know where the Eagles are.
You know what? You got Dallas right after that.
And those other teams as well. It works both ways. You're gonna kind of figure out, all right, who's really the top contender, because the Eagles are in that conversation. But here's what the only thing I'll say about Jeff, the 3rd and 9, the 3rd and 13, the 3rd and 15. So you had mentioned the struggles on 3rd down. That's not coaching. That's not game planning. That's not play calling. That's a quarterback making a play. And wide receivers. You got to give the wide receivers for credit for scramble drills. But that's not like something Ken Patullo looks down on a sheet and says, Jalen, go make a play. Like, how do people get excited about? That's something you can't count on. It's great when it happens. But if Minnesota has better rush discipline, there were a couple times I pointed out to Zander, he was ready to go down because he assumed the pass rush was going to be there, and it wasn't. And then he said, all right, I'll keep going.
Yeah, right.
But that's the kind of stuff that I think people take and say, well, that will translate. It's not going to translate. What you need is 3rd and 5 conversion. That's what you need. And right now, they're still not great at that.
They just can't run the ball.
Well, they haven't run the ball. But also, again, the same things don't change. and I know people are shitting on Zander.
Eat crows, Zander.
The ball doesn't come out on time too often because one team showed up and played a bunch of man coverage and thought Isaiah Rodgers could hold up against AJ Brown. Does not translate.
You're going to see zone next week when you play the Giants.
Exactly.
Also, I kind of hope the Eagles get the Giants. They are going to get the Giants, a pissed off Giants team, because we got to talk about that. That was probably the worst coaching, execution, anything you can name in football in that fourth quarter by the Giants yesterday. That was horrible.
It was unbelievable. I did talk about it a little bit that when they had the football and they were playing for a field goal in a situation where you knew the other team would only need a field goal to come back, I thought it was just egregious. But that it went back and forth. They lost a 19-point lead. And they had the big Tracy run, so that, that obviously was a big part of it, but earlier in the process. But once you get down to where they were and they're playing conservative, you're the New York Giants. What exactly are you playing conservatively for? What do you got to lose?
And then you get aggressive when you shouldn't be aggressive. When you're up 10, you throw that whatever play call that was on 3rd and 5 that was picked. I'm like, well, here it comes. It's always one or two plays that spark a comeback. That was one.
That was certainly one of them right there. Well, look, that team, that was a little bit of a deflator at the end of that game. I wonder how that affects them next week. I know John says there's no transitive properties, but sometimes momentum is a thing.
The Giants would have been better off if Dan Rule Jackson Dart scored a touchdown with 40-some seconds left. Remember they said the ball crossed the plane? I'm like, oh, they might have been better off not scoring because they had the game won. And keep in mind,
they had to score a touchdown. It was first down, so they had plenty of time.
They had plenty of time to score it there. That's what I meant. Yeah. They could have run some more time off the clock.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not, but by the way, Nick Sirianni managed the end of that game. Not that, the Eagles were going to win beautifully, which he won't get credit for, but because there's so many bad game management coaches, and that's because they're bogged down with play calling. I firmly believe that. But the Giants are Brian Daboll. He's trying desperately to hold on and and it's worked to a certain degree because Knicks, not Knicks. I get those two confused because they're very similar players, by the way. Bo Nix is kind of a wild card. Bakery Mayfield. Vic said it, and so is Dart. They're very similar players, but
big arms. They can move. The Broncos should actually run Bo Nix more than what they do.
Yeah, and brought up that end of the sequence, though. I mean, that's the type of aggressive that has made Sirianni, successful in this league. 3rd and 10 was. I don't know how much time was left, but if you don't convert that third down there, the Broncos or not the Broncos, the Vikings are going to have a chance to come back in the game. They iced it 3rd and 10, 45-yard go route to AJ Brown. That was a good aggressive play call.
Yeah, well. That was Isaiah Rodgers' mistake, but that's one of those things where
he gave up 130 yards in coverage on Sunday.
Yeah, well,
the NFL pass ring allowed going in.
I saw the play. Like Minnesota had a great defense for that play. That's why, again, play call is so nebulous. It's like actually they caught him. They knew what they were doing. And they had Metellus dropping underneath, and Rodgers bit the cheese anyway, even though he had the help underneath. And his job was to make sure the go wasn't part of it. It was a slow go. So it was a slant. The slant was covered by Metellus. The go was supposed to be covered by Rodgers. Rodgers jumped the slant, and then all of a sudden AJ's behind him.
Do you hear? Do you hear this week Isaiah Rodgers got on our buddy Ed Kratz?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Like I wish like sometimes players would just ignore things and stop trying to make it players versus media.
well, and by the way, the Eagles wanted Isaiah Rodgers back. There's no doubt about that. 100%. They wanted him back, but again, he's not a great corner. He's a good corner. He's not a great corner. I said it all week. That is a mismatch for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yesterday. Because now nobody can use the PFF gradings for Isaiah, and that the Eagles let him go. Howie was thrilled with that yesterday. I'm sure.
To add to John's point about the Jalen Hurts stuff we were talking about earlier, that's all he really had was a great game earlier in the season. It was like an all-time game.
Yeah, it was yeah, exactly. It's an outlier. He had the defensive version of what Jalen had yesterday. Yeah, he had the
I want to see Jalen Hurts let it fly more, man. I hope this is the start of the next.
I mean, in a way, he is, Zander. He is.
I know he is, but I want to see it. I think this is the way this team is going to have to play.
All right. I'm gonna talk you off the ledge, Zander. You want to see him let it fly if somebody's just playing cover two, just two safeties back and playing in the parking lot. Like the guys are streaking wide open, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown before the defense because they're playing man coverage for the most part and they're trying to blitz. And if you're playing cover two and you're throwing those throws, it's an interception. But
unless you thread the needle with the throw, yeah.
Well, you get a whole shot and cover two. If they're doing their job, I'm not talking about blown coverages. I'm saying if they're doing their jobs, you're not getting behind a cover two safety, so you got to take the whole shot in between the corner and the safety
field. Yeah,
you're gonna see a ton of cover two next week. Packers game, definitely in the Cowboys game. You're definitely going to see that. They played a ton yesterday against Washington. Jaden Daniels looked lost.
I just don't get where. If you're telling me, John, that I should walk off the ledge on that, what is the
saying under center 79-yard touchdown.
What's the plan for success though with this offense if it's not pass the ball? Right now they cannot run the ball.
Again, it's boring, but Nick says first of all, you have to, and that's where I give the Eagles coaches credit yesterday. They came in with their game plan. It wasn't working, and they shifted. So you have to make adjustments to what's going on defensively. They expected to see a different style of defense than they saw, and they took advantage. They shifted, and they took advantage of Isaiah Rodgers, and to a lesser degree, the other corner, Murphy. They took advantage of that because they left him out on an island. And that's a Brian Flores problem. That's not an Eagles problem. They took advantage of it way too much. They should have been playing a shitload of cover too because they don't have good corners against good receivers.
Right.
Question, guys. I don't want to look too far ahead. I know we got the Giants next week. Is Shane Bowen their defensive coordinator next week? Because Brian Burns had some damn.
He was upset, man. He was upset. And he should be. He should be. They're
rushing 3.
They're rushing 3. But by the way, I hate that. Flores rushed 3 on the first AJ touchdown. He rushed 3, dropped 8 in the coverage.
And it's not like the Giants don't have the horses.
I'm all for. I'm advocating for Brian Burns. That was stupid.
I am too. 9 sacks this year, 2 sacks on Sunday, 10 pressures. And
how many sacks is he up to? He has 9 sacks already?
He has 9 sacks. Yep.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So you're playing.
That is crazy.
So you can't give up a field goal in Denver, where has a history, obviously mile high, of long kicks, and everybody's kicking long kicks, but even more so in that environment. And you're playing coverage. Yeah, Brian Burns should have started a mutiny as far as I'm concerned.
Is it bad when I was watching that game yesterday and hearing the crowd saying how much I'm going to miss that stadium when it's gone in 5 years?
No. Why would?
Because everything is becoming a Costco stadium. Everything.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that stadium in Minnesota is freaking awesome.
Oh, it is, and that's what they all
It's
want
one
to
of the
do.
better
They're all trying to
stadiums.
emulate that.
Yeah.
That Minnesota Stadium is crazy. All
Yeah,
right,
like
John.
Tennessee.
We gotta
I don't
circle
like
back
Tennessee
on-
Stadium, by the way.
We got to
Well,
circle
they're
back
getting a new
on
one.
offense.
Well, yeah, that's why I meant the new one.
Yeah.
What is the plan then? Like if you're telling me, John, that I shouldn't be calling for more passing, which I
No,
understand.
I didn't
why.
say that. I'm saying you
Well,
shouldn't.
you're just giving me
expect-
an alternative view of it, right? Where it's not going.
I'm saying you shouldn't expect what you expect yesterday.
No, I'm not expecting that. I'm not expecting.
That's what I'm trying to say. I think they should pass it more. I think they should be able to pass it more consistently. I've thought that for a long time, but understand that's a very unique team. I said it before the game. You're not going to see the style of defense that they play because nobody plays that style of defense but them. So you're going to see more conventional stuff. And my thought is that you're going to see a lot of cover two because the Eagles have struggled passing the football against zone coverage this season. That's my guess. I have no idea if it's going to shake out like that, but I find it very hard to believe. I said the same thing during the Super Bowl. I was counterintuitive to everybody else because they said, well, Spagnuolo stopped Saquon, so that's what everybody's going to do. And I said, how many times did I say that? Yeah, it didn't work. You got to come up with something else.
All right,
Same
so
thing
what's the offensive plan like going into the Giants next week?
Well, the Giants are going to put it on their front four and say, we're going to get home with 4, and they're going to play a lot of zone. That's what they did in the first game. AJ was supposed
the offensive plan should be what?
Oh, the offensive plan is you need to throw the football more until you can figure out the run game, which I don't know how they're going to figure out, but you have, and that's the problem. Can they consistently do that against zone coverage? To date, we haven't seen that, but they're going to have to do that. That means more patience. That means the ball coming out on time. Like you talked about those hole shots. Guess what? That fucking football's got to be on time. Otherwise, you're eating it or it's getting picked off. And we all know how ball security conscious Jalen Hurts is. So I still need to see that. I still need to see the trains on schedule, so to speak.
Yeah, I get that. And I think that's probably the one thing you didn't see yesterday in terms of you still don't see any of the easy stuff, John. Like you've been talking about, give them a layup. You don't see any of the easy completions still. Like a lot of their game yesterday was downfield. I mean, Hurts had 19 completions and he had
it's 5 of 5 with 20.
But he had like 300. What do you have? 328 passing yards or 326 or something, and 19
only threw 23 passes.
Right, that's what I mean. So it's like I would like to see them get more of that involved in the game, and I think that's on Patullo a little bit more, but
Well, you can't scheme up guys running wide open behind the defense unless the defense is allowing you to have one-on-one matchups and not playing well on top of it. I mean, let's be honest. How open was Devontae Smith?
Open.
How open was AJ Brown on the last play of the game and the 4th and 4 to start the game?
The 4th and 4 was wide open. That was a terrible. I mean, it's a good thing Jalen told him to keep going because that was not a good looking 4th and 4 play.
No, it was not. It was not.
And again, we're not going to see that with a cover 2 or a cover 2 press, or we're just not going to see that. But that's where the layup comment comes in. That's where you got to take advantage of those open seams in the middle of the field. Maybe that's where Dallas Goedert gets involved again.
Guys, they say 3 games in the NFL is a trend, right? How about Jalen Hurts' running stats for the last 3 games? I don't think he's ever had.
He runs the ball. I wasn't aware.
Well, last 3 games he hasn't, Jeff. Last 3 games he had Minnesota. He had 4 carries for minus 10 yards yesterday. So whatever.
A lot of it was kneel down.
Kneel downs at the end.
That was kind of a bullshit. But anyway, he didn't have any big. The game before, 7 carries for 13 versus the Giants, and then 2 carries for 3 yards versus the Broncos. That's a trend. So I wonder, if defenses are taking that away, if he's less looking to do it, more looking to move the ball through the air. Obviously, a big increase in passing numbers the last couple games. So
it's a combination. They're taking that away. He's getting a lot of blitzes because he's been facing Todd Bowles and he's been facing who's Denver's defense? All of a sudden, I'm drawing a blank. Who's Denver's defensive coordinator?
Vance Joseph.
Thank you. So losing that, Shane Bowen blitzes a lot. He's facing a lot of blitzing. He's going to face Bowen this week.
They've struggled against the blitz until yesterday. No, struggled against zone. They've done very well against the blitz. So I think that's a 180 from what had happened going into this season with Jalen Hurts. It was the opposite. So again, the very strangeness of this particular team. Now he's great against the blitz and struggling against zone. So if you're a defensive coordinator, you're like, what the freak did I do? But to point out the running game, again, I go back to 3rd and 9, 3rd and 13, 3rd and 50. Well, what if he runs and gets 7 yards and 8 yards? And you might say, oh, the rushing numbers look good. But no, he kept the football and he made plays in the passing game. So I don't really care again about the numbers. And certainly yesterday's numbers running looked bad because he was taking losses late in the game to run out the clock as well.
Well, I did think I told you this, John, in the opening segment. I thought one of the things I liked yesterday was Jalen kept his eyes downfield when he got out of the pocket, and he made a lot of those big plays downfield.
Yeah, I mean, those –
I'll take those over a 7-yard run.
Exactly.
You know?
And but it would look good in the stat book if you had 3 for 21 but you're not getting those big conversions. So people have to be careful.
A lot of that plus one gets taken away with the blitz.
Oh yeah. Well, if you do it right, you pen them in but it's not easy to do either. I mean, Minnesota was using a spy. Like if you watch that 4th and 4, they rushed 3, they had a spy, and the play, they didn't get home, and the play kept going and going and going, and Jalen just told AJ to go up the field. And, I mean, the defense has to execute as well, and the defense didn't execute. But you can see from a defensive perspective, like if you're the coach, that worked. The execution, the players didn't do it. You can't just let the quarterback stay back there for a minute and a half in a rocking chair. I mean, somebody's got to break through. So from their standpoint, they shut off what the Eagles wanted to do. And it's just, they extended the play, and that's that's a check mark to Jalen Hurts. That's actually, and this is the interesting part about football. So that play is a huge play for the Philadelphia Eagles, right? That's a negative check mark to Kevin Patullo and a positive check mark to Brian Flores, and the Eagles scored a touchdown. Right. Now, how much sense does that make to people? The average football fan doesn't make sense. To coaches, it makes perfect sense.
This is an interesting team, guys. It's really an interesting football team right now. I mean,
it's a week-to-week league, Andrew.
I know it is. It is. It's an interesting league. There's no doubt about it. Jeff, what'd you make of the Devontae Smith calling his shot on the sideline? Apparently that was talked about big, and, fans are going crazy about that. Even Devontae has to call the easy plays to see and all that. What did you make of it?
You know what? I didn't even know about till this morning. Before I came on the show, I was like, oh, this is a thing. Because once the Eagles game ended, I went to Cowboys game. There were 4:00 games that by the way, the 4:00 slate was so much better than the 1:00 slate this week. It wasn't even funny. But yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, oh, okay, like Devontae's having some fun. I get it. I didn't hear that though. Even Devontae's calling his play. Is that what they were saying, Zander?
Well, that's a fan base. What's
wrong with such a trend?
Weird the way he talked about it. I mean, one offensive lineman said he was even vouching to Landon Dickerson to get the offensive line on board. And I'm like, well, this guy's got to collude with every person.
You got a lot. No, you got a lot. Why do people think this is unique? Yeah. Anybody ever see Travis Kelce yelling at Andy Reid on the sidelines? Why?
No, because they don't watch any other games.
But Andy Reid deserves the benefit of the doubt. Does Kevin Patullo?
The point is, it doesn't matter if it's Andy Reid or Kevin Patullo. Smart players lobby when they see something on the field. That's exactly what they should do. That's
And good
exactly what
coaches
you
listen.
want.
Yeah, you want that. I agree.
It is not rare. It is not unique. It happens every game in the NFL every week.
Jonathan Taylor did to Shane Steichen yesterday.
Happens every week. Look, they're doing this, they're doing that. We should do this. And then, yeah, I mean, it's up to the offensive coordinator to either implement it or say, hey, dude, go sit down. And some guys have bigger egos. And I often talk about coaching egos getting in the way because nobody knows what's going on the field better than the quarterback. So if you have a smart quarterback and a high football IQ quarterback and you're not taking in his lobbying, you're a shitty coach.
No,
Not
I agree.
rare.
I mean, it's a good thing that they listen to him. I was just bringing up the perspective of everybody else.
I know what the trend is right now. Kevin Patullo is evil. That's pretty much.
I don't know if he's evil. He's just a dummy.
No, that too.
Well,
I heard people say, ship Kevin Patullo off to Penn State. I'm like, if you don't like him, why would Penn State like him?
I had some guy tweeting at me, James Franklin to be the OC. I'm like, what?
No, you don't want him either. By the way, James
I don't know
Franklin
where
never
that
called
came
plays
from.
at Penn
I got
State.
that though in my Twitter mentions a couple times. Yeah, I forget who it was.
I got a kick out. I brought it up on the pregame show. Sills got mad at me because it's his buddy, but I got a kick out of the Patullo getting fired talk during the bye week, which is now over. So you can say, whoa, he figured it out. And then it goes away. But I on the back end of that, I get it like the James Franklin talk. Like, you think they're going outside the organization to bring in a big name in the middle of the season and start a whole new offense?
Yeah, that is not going to be good.
I mean, where do these people come up with this?
I think the Ravens in 2012 won after firing their offensive coordinator through I don't know how many weeks.
Yeah, they hired Jim Campbell was.
Yeah, Jim Caldwell.
Yeah, Jim Caldwell. I don't know why I said Jim Campbell. I was thinking Jim Campbell for some reason.
Was that
he was on their staff.
Cameron?
Yep,
Yeah.
Cam Cameron, John fired middle of the season.
Cam Cameron might have been one of the worst head coaches I've ever seen.
No, guys get fired all the time, but you're
no, I was just saying there is an instance of having success after firing.
But it would be somebody on the staff.
It'd be like Scott Loffer or Parks Frazier or somebody.
Yeah, or most likely Jason Michael, as I said.
Yeah, Jason Michael. He's been there forever.
Well, he's been a coordinator. That's why. But yeah. But those are the three names you'd be talking about. Parks Frazier as well, as Jeff brought it, and Scott Leffler, the quarterback's coach. That's who you're talking about. You're not going out and getting insert big name.
Jeff, I got a question for you, and you're not going to like it. Is your boy Saquon Barkley washed? What's going on, man?
He's not washed, but I tried to tell people this is what happens after you run for 2,000 yards, and even he's disagreed with me on this.
I think it's more offensive line. I'm just asking the question.
Yeah, it's offensive line, but he had a lot of touches last year. Look, it happens. It happens to every 2,000-yard rusher known to man. The best season after a 2,000-yard season was Barry, and he wasn't the same player. He retired after that the year after the 2,000-yard season. He was done. So this happens. Saquon will be fine. He'll be back. It probably won't be till 26, but this is just the reality of it. You have 400 some touches last year. By the way, I'm going to say this right now, too, as someone who watched Sunday Night Football last night. The 49ers are done the second Christian McCaffrey runs out of gas. And they're running him out of gas fast.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
He had a great game, though.
I'm so glad George Kittle is back to be Christian McCaffrey's blocker, by the way.
Well, he can block. He's one.
I know, but you use him. And look, they used it well last night, but he blocked pretty much all 48 snaps.
I'll tell you what, Mac Jones should be a starting quarterback in this league. I'll tell you what.
Devontae Smith, trust me, he loves him.
I'll tell you what, Mac Jones is way better than Michael Penix.
He's, well, I think Penix is fine. I think he's a star. He didn't have a great game, obviously, but that's the NFL.
I don't take the Falcons seriously because of Michael Penix. I just don't. I don't see.
Well, I don't think they're a contender.
He's got a laser strap to his left shoulder.
Remember, when I say you're starting NFL quarterback, I mean you're one of the best 32 quarterbacks in the world. That's what I mean. I'm not saying Michael Penix is great, but he's certainly a deserving starting quarterback. But I think the same thing with Mac Jones, even though he wasn't great. McCaffrey was great.
McCaffrey was the offense last night.
Boy, he's back in when he's healthy, man. His ability in the receiving game is unbelievable.
Guys, 7 games into this thing, who do you think is emerging as the top NFC contenders? Or because John, I know we were, you were high on Packers early, and obviously they made the big.
Yeah, they're not playing well, but they win.
No, they win. But Jordan Love.
You know, the number 1 seed's going to be if he stays healthy. It's going to be the 49ers because their schedule.
Their schedule's brutal.
I know,
but I don't know. Do you want
Closer? Are they going to be able to keep that up? Even
Fred
with
Warner. Fred Warner out.
We'll see, but McCaffrey's the one they can't afford to lose.
You see Bryce Huff making plays, by the way?
Bryce Huff looked explosive.
Well, look what happens when he's in the right system.
Yeah, well, that's part of it.
He didn't suck last year. The Eagles miscalculated, period.
Yeah, they did. He's not a bad. So
who do you guys think will be the biggest contenders then? Bucks, I think, are going to be there. I mean, they're playing great, even with all the injuries they've had.
I think Detroit's going to be there. Tampa. I actually just did playoff predictions. This is going to change every week, right? I'm picking my 7 teams. I actually had the Eagles as the 4 seed just based on the schedules because of Tampa's schedule, San Fran's schedule. I'm assuming they're going to win the division. Who do they have winning the North? Oh, Green Bay.
Yeah, I think the 3 best teams, not in order, so get exact, are Green Bay, Detroit, Philadelphia. You can pick
LA's there too. The Rams are good, I think, too.
So Seahawks are good. That NFC West is brutal.
The Seahawks are good.
But
there's a bunch of good teams. So by the way, those you can bring 3 more teams. You can bring Tampa Bay, Seattle, and the Rams, and they're a tick below. So I mean, I'm just saying I think those are the 3 best teams right now. But it wouldn't surprise me if any of those teams made it to the NFC Championship game.
So right now, the 7 teams that are in the playoffs, if we did the playoff picture, Tampa Bay's winning their division, Green Bay's winning their division, Eagles are winning their division, 49ers win their division, the Rams, the Seahawks, there's another one. Oh, and the Lions. I think they're the 7 playoff teams. I don't think that's going to change.
Yeah, those are and the NFC is much deeper than the AFC. The AFC is awful. Kansas City's going to the Super Bowl again. Kansas City's going to the Super Bowl again.
They're looking real good.
You know what's crazy, John? Right now, they're not one of the 7. I said they're going to be the 2 seed.
I'll tell you what, people are going to get pissed off, but I can't go through another Kansas City Eagles Super Bowl. And if Kansas City's going to be there, I can't have the Eagles there.
I can't
do it. I can't do it.
Come on, man!
I can't do it.
I'll tell you what.
Somebody's got to upset Kansas City. I can't stand that.
It's not going to be the Colts. It's not going to be them. They're good.
Well, I hope it. Now that I would love an Eagles Colts Super Bowl because Shane's a great.
Well, look
dude.
at the storylines.
Yeah. Well, don't even start me with the stupid sheep. That's the whole point. I don't want it. The stupid Chiefs Eagles storylines. Oh my God.
I love it.
Oh, Jeff, come on. Be honest.
You have Eagles Chiefs every year.
That is a shit show.
I care.
You're gonna find 2 weeks of all the bullshit, man. Oh, the NFL wants the Chiefs to win for 2 weeks. You're gonna get all that.
John, it would be glorious. I would be so excited if Eagles Chiefs.
Can't take it. Call. Give me the call.
Between the NFL wants the Chiefs to win and the Eagles cheat because of the tush push is probably 2 of the funniest stories I've ever heard.
No, it's awful. It is the lowest common denominator meeting in the public square, and it's just incessant nonsense, and I can't deal with it.
And people take the bait.
Yes. I want to elevate the conversation, Jeff Kerr. Get Kansas City the hell out of there. I don't know who's going to beat them in that shitty.
Yeah, who's
conference.
going to beat them? That's the
know either.
problem.
That's the problem. Yes.
I mean, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't doing it.
No.
The Bills maybe, but I don't know if they're going to win their
I don't think
division.
the Colts are doing it.
I don't like the Bills. I don't. They have a great quarterback and a mediocre team. That's the Bills.
Yeah. And the Patriots are getting a great quarterback. They have a mediocre
Patriots.
team.
I'm starting to like the Patriots.
I like the Patriots.
Great
I like the Patriots winning again. It's
I like
that
I
Bill
like
Belichick being gone makes me happy.
Drake May is the only of these young quarterbacks over the past 2 years who looks like an NFL quarterback.
He looked like one last year, and the Patriots were terrible. Best all season was the Patriots, and it happened before the all season. They fired
Mike Vrabel's a good coach. Maybe I'll get on that. Well, I got to root for Indy first because of Shane, but I think Indy's got a shot.
Indy's playing really good.
Do you know the Patriots under Mike Vrabel have more wins this year than the Titans have combined since they fired Mike Vrabel?
The Titans are abject to say. If you're feeling bad about yourself, just say, "Hey, I'm not the Tennessee Titans." What a terrible!
I did the 5 worst teams in the NFL, and Colts fans always love to tell me this every single week, and I tell them I was dead wrong. But 4 I was dead right on. The Titans and the Jets. I thought they were going to be god awful. I think
the Titans are worse than the Jets. I mean, I
think they are too. The Jets they're close to having 2 or 3 wins. It's coaching with the Jets.
Yeah, I think that the Jets are slightly better.
They play each other.
I think they'll beat the Titans pretty good.
Guys, what about?
I think they will too.
What about the NFC East?
I think the Eagles are going to win that division.
John, was what? The Cowboys would get second in the East because Jaden Daniels and the Commanders would regress. That was one of
they certainly, a lot of injuries. Certainly, he got hurt again. And that's part of it. And that's, but Dak's playing great. Dak, if they had a better defense, and Eagles fans aren't going to like this, he'd be in the MVP conversation. That's how well he's playing.
You know how good the Cowboys are when they have CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens together? This is insane, like what they're doing.
I don't think Jerry's going to pay George, and it's actually might not be a knock on Jerry.
He has the same agent as Micah.
Well, I don't care about that. I actually don't think this is going to be a knock on Jerry because if you think about it, George is going to want wide receiver 1 money. Rightfully so, as most people would. And if he's not willing to take a deal like Devontae took in Philly, I don't think Jerry's going to pay him. It's going to be too much. You can't pay him unless he takes it from
This is what bothered me about them trading Micah Parsons because you traded for George Pickens. I'm like, dude, you have everything you need to win 12 games, and you decided
if they didn't trade Micah Parsons, they'd be a Super Bowl contender.
They would
with the way Dak is playing. But
I'm telling you, the Cowboys care more about how Dak Prescott plays than actually winning football games.
He's playing well, man.
I know.
Playing well.
I had some guy tweet to me yesterday. I think he was joking around, but still it was funny. He said, "I understand Stats FC," which I guess is what people online use for people who only care about stats. I understand Stats FC. This shit feels better than the Super Bowl. Because Jalen Hurts threw for 326 and 3 tutties. I was cracking up, man.
That's because people are silent about Jalen this week. The whole he can't throw nonsense. Again, that's where John goes to the whole lowest common denominator thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Everybody goes, I want Joe Burrow to be my quarterback.
And the good thing is with that, and we'll get some Brandon Graham news early this week, probably today, but definitely
today.
John, you're like that's a definite.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a definite. I don't like it.
But you won't. I don't like it either. But I like Brandon. Brandon's tremendous, dude. But I just don't. Like. And I thought
it's such a good ending. I hope it doesn't sour that beautiful ending that he had.
Well, it's probably going to.
It's going to. It doesn't get any better. By the way, John, I didn't catch this week when Zadarius Smith was gone. He had Brandon's locker, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So it was locker.
So the locker's open. The locker's ready to go. But I think Nakobe, we brought him up a little bit. Nakobe played great, man.
He was awesome yesterday.
It was good to see him running around, and obviously, Jahad Campbell got some extra reps. Aziz got hurt too, so that helped on the edge when they had N'Kobe in. And
They have no edge rusher. This is why they have to do this.
Well, he didn't do much, but still, I'm thinking to myself, if you throw him into the deep end of the pool, and Jahad I'm talking about, eventually the athletic ability is going to take over to a certain extent. I think that's better when you have N'Kobe Dean. Get your best players on the field.
Yeah, man.
And you can't get N'Kobe on the field if Jihad's on the field playing off-ball line.
John,
I mean, N'Kobe
N'Kobe's
sounded
playing?
shocked he only got 6 special team snaps, but he said
He was chomping at the bit to get
Well,
back.
that's a tough injury to come back from, as we've talked about that. That's he
Oh,
looks like
it is, but he looked
right where
great.
he left off.
He looked great. He looked great.
Yeah, he deserves definitely some credit for that, man. That's impressive.
Yeah, and he played great last season. I think people forget for whatever reason.
I don't think they forgot. I just think it's been so long that he played. I remember when he got hurt, a lot of Eagles fans were concerned, like, oh, there it goes. Like, we can't afford to lose him. And Warren Burks did a great job.
Yeah. Warren did do a great job.
Yeah, really.
That's
good.
part of it too. So everybody's like, well, he did it. So anybody could do it. It's one of those things where, if you want to go way back to that a more high profile position, that's like, I would always try to explain people, Nick Foles. I mean, you don't want him playing 17 games, but he got hot at the right time. You don't want defensively, you don't want Warren Burks playing 17 games, but he got hot at the right time. Yeah. Same thing. But
I got a lot of heat yesterday, John, for saying Makuba's a very good football player, and I forgot players can't get better. Everybody goes, he misses this, he does this, he does this. I'm like, guys, he's played like 6 games.
He's gonna have mistakes. He made some crucial mistakes, but overall, he's showing that he's capable for sure.
Do people not watch college football at all? It's like a missed tackle fest.
It really is.
They probably couldn't even tell you what school he went to without looking it up.
I can tell you both.
I know you can. You watch college football.
You
do too, Zander.
I love college. College football is having a great season right now, and I'm loving what my Bama team is doing. Obviously,
by the way, Zander, we have to laugh at this. We have to laugh at this in Happy Valley. I've heard from enough people that Penn State is actually trying to pry Caden DeBoer away from Alabama, and I just laugh. I'm like, hey, good luck with that.
Well, is that something you think Kalen DeBoer would consider?
I don't know.
Why would he consider that?
Yeah, like it's Alabama, right? That's a better job than Penn State.
Dude, Alabama, and the facility they have there, everything. I mean, it's
I know.
top of the line.
You're better off going. I know Mike Elko's another guy they're going after too. They have a much better chance against Elko, I think, than.
I don't know. No, I don't know. Nobody's got.
Texas
more money
A&M's got
than
unlimited
Texas A&M.
resources too.
Yeah.
But everybody's mad at me this week. Bama ain't doing shit this year, bozo. Oh, fuck you, almighty Lambo, bitch.
Isn't Bama like a top 10 team right now?
They're going to be top 5. 3 or 4 after this week. After their Tennessee win.
I have no idea who's going to win the national championship. I really don't.
Doesn't matter because now it's actually a real playoff system. So it doesn't matter your ranking. You're going to get in. You're in. Then you got to go win.
That was Bama's problem last year. They didn't get in. If they got in, they might have made a run last year.
Yeah,
I think
they were hot.
Yeah, I think the reason Signetti signed that is because Penn State was calling him.
Yeah. Oh no, that's exactly the reason. I was told that.
Why else does he get a contract right and after week 4 or week 5, whatever it was?
Everybody says, the agent wanted that out. I said, yeah, because Penn State was going to offer him that money.
Exactly right.
He was clearly considering that.
Yeah. Why wouldn't he? You're going to get Matt Rule. Get used to it.
I already have that entrenched in my mind.
And have that goofy Pat Holmes cosplay.
You fired James Franklin for James Franklin.
Did you see him on game day, James Franklin?
Oh, of course I did.
What'd you think?
Where was he?
He was on.
I thought it was a good PR hit for him. I really did.
I did too. Honestly,
softball questions, but James answered it. James is really good at that. I like what Nick Saban said.
How about Saban going at Penn State?
You know what? I agree with Saban to an extent, but I will say this. Nick Saban won championships. James Franklin didn't. And James Franklin kept saying for years, oh, if I have this, I have this. If I have this, the NIL's there. If I get the 5-star recruits, well, you had it and you went 3-3, dude. So
Yeah, I think Saban understands though where Franklin pulled that that program from, and I think even
I agree.
Give Franklin enough credit.
James Franklin and Bill O'Brien saved Penn State football. Penn State fans do not want to admit that.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll tell you who I'm rooting for.
God.
Jeff, you know who I'm rooting for. The Vandy Commodores. That's my
Derek
club.
Key.
That's my club. I love that quarterback.
I have a couple friends that go to Vanderbilt, and I'll tell you that I've been to 2 Vanderbilt games. It has changed so much since the last time I went there in terms of the facilities, the stadium. NIL came in, man. That opened the door for a couple schools. Vanderbilt was one of them.
Yeah, Diego Pavia. Now he's only a college player. He doesn't translate to the NFL.
He's a great college player.
He is a great college player. And I think he's trying to play 10 years in college because they make a shitload of money.
I can't blame him.
I don't blame him.
He is an unbelievable college player. I mean, they're competing with Alabama. They beat them last year. They ran with them again this year. They had a really tough game.
Bama had them beat if you watch that full game.
But they beat them last year. I was talking to Tyler Steen. Tyler Steen played at Vanderbilt, and then he transferred his final year to Alabama. He played 4 years at Vanderbilt. He loved that game. That last year they upset Alabama. That's the biggest probably win in school history.
Your game day's going to Vanderbilt this week.
Is it?
Vanderbilt, Missouri.
Yeah. That kid, man.
Missouri has come alive too. I like their quarterback.
That's another guy, Penn State.
Yeah, Penn State
wants. They want Eli Drinkwitz. I'm like, can he take Bo Prabula back with him?
Yeah, there's a SEC show on Netflix and that's where I learned about Diego Pavia. Boy, you talk about confidence. I always talk about confidence being a big thing with players. You watch that show, you figure it out because that dude, he thinks he's winning every game, no matter what you tell him.
Did you guys hear him yesterday? We ain't losing another effing game.
Yeah, similar.
I don't think he said that. I think someone took that and tweeted that, but that's not what he actually said. I think we're not losers anymore.
We're not losers.
We're not losers anymore.
But someone put out, "We're never losing again." I'm like, I don't think Jalen Hurts said that, guys. But anyway, it was a good.
Tim Tebow said that once, though.
Well, Tim was
we're not losing another game the rest of the season.
Tim was a great. The difference is, Tim Tebow was a great college player. So was Diego Pavia. Jalen Hurts is a great pro player.
Yeah. Tim Tebow would have been a great H-back in the NFL if he would have actually swallowed some pride.
And by the way, it's a lot easier to win in college than it is in the NFL. A lot easier. These high-level schools, they got 3 or 4 games. By
the way, Zander, your coach, Nick Saban, broke the mold for top schools. They're like, well, Alabama's a winning record against top 5 and top 10 programs, so everybody's got to do it. I'm like, no, most people are kind of like James Franklin. They have like a 250 win percentage against top 10 schools. Because it's just magnified.
They only have 3 games they have to worry about every year.
I'll tell you who else is doing good with that. Kalen DeBoer. He's winning. He's winning the tough games and not winning some of the games that he shouldn't, man.
That's where Bama fans are getting upset. He's losing the games he shouldn't lose.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Nick Saban just didn't lose at all.
That's true. Nick Saban was a beast, man.
Don't lose.
All right, Jeff. Good show, man. Appreciate you joining in. What will the narrative be, Jeff, after next week? And I know it's early to say that, but man, it feels like every fucking week this team flips us on our head. What do you think, Jeff?
You know what the narrative is going to be going into the bye week? The Eagles are a Super Bowl contender, and they're going to be 6-2.
I agree.
And that's all I'm going to – I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to find a way to beat the crap out of the Giants, who will be reeling because the Giants are a loser organization. They've always been a loser organization, as you saw yesterday. They have a losing culture in New York, and that Eagles win in Week 6 was their Super Bowl.
And that's why the grit continues, because how do you go from an abject disaster where everybody hates each other to a Super Bowl contender in 2 weeks? How do you do it, Jeff?
It's a week-to-week league.
Because it's all bullshit. And then meetings. Yeah, they already had their first of 75 meetings this week.
Yeah, did you know they talked in the parking lot? I'm telling you, it's – people want that F1 drive to survive mentality in the NFL, and you're not getting it.
I agree. All right, Jeff, good stuff, man. We got to run. Appreciate you doing it today, brother.
Anytime, guys. Thanks.
Thank
All right,
you,
see you,
Jeff.
bud.
Appreciate Jeff, man. Always makes a lot of time for us on a Monday morning. Jeff, thank you, brother. Appreciate him joining in. Make sure you guys follow him at Jeff Kerr, CBS, and read all his work at cbssports.com. Good stuff, John, on that interview, that conversation with Jeff Kerr. This is a weird football team, John, this Eagles team.
No, it's very weird. Very weird team. Very weird team. I'm just watching Devontae's touchdown again. It popped up on my feed. Oh no, this was a different play. Yeah, he had a big game, man. He's a great receiver.
He really is a great receiver.
So tough for his size, too.
Well, you said last week you didn't think he was top 15. Is that because of the talent of the player or more because of the
there's a shitload of good receivers. Like,
well, there is, but I do think if Devontae was in a more consistent pass happy offense, which maybe I don't know, maybe we become
maybe. But sometimes it's good because I do think, at some point they list him at 170. He ain't 170. At some point, like if you were catching, like Puka was out this week, but if you're catching 110 balls like Puka, I don't think he'd hold up. So some part of it is good to a certain degree, but he's just really gifted, really talented. Again, unique is a big word with this team, but to be that guy, to be the guy that catches 100 balls, a lot of it is just standing up to the punishment.
Yeah, it's true.
Is part of it. And then that's a position because of the way football is now at the lower levels. They don't practice offensive and defensive linemen. So they don't get to practice. They don't get to hit until basically the games. And all they do in the offseason is play 7-on-7. So you got all these skilled quarterbacks and receivers and to a certain degree corners on defense. There's a boatload of those guys, and there isn't a boatload at more physical positions.
John, how concerned are you on the Eagles defense right now, brother?
Like I said, I thought, they play a certain style, and that's Vic's style. I think if you compare it to last season, but look, as long as they play in the red zone like they played in the red zone, they're fine.
Well, remember, you did have the gift of Carson.
Well, you had a couple gifts. The Brandell holding was not a hold.
Yeah,
the Hawkinson touchdown. That's the over legislation of the NFL, but it is what it is. So it wasn't quite as good as it looked on paper. And then you had the stupid Carson play with the whatever he was doing. So you're right. I mean, but bottom line is they were really tough. Even the one touchdown they scored, they were right there. And that the guy got it in by an inch, literally. They were playing really tough in the red zone. They're turning it over. They get the big turnovers. Jalix Hunt with the pick six, Makuba, and they didn't turn over. So they win the giveaway takeaway again, which they do almost every week. I think there was a lot of positive to the defense, but the big issue remains the same, and that's why Brandon Graham's going to be here. They got an edge problem, but I'd like to shift more towards let's see if Campbell can do it.
Yeah, I agree.
And get Nakobe on the field.
Boy, he's a small edge, but he at least looks like he might be able to do it, John. I think someone put out a stat he'd be the smallest edge since.
Well, and then if you move him to edge, similar to, I don't want to compare him to Micah, but then you gain weight. He's plenty of room to get on the frame.
Yeah,
get up to 250.
He's got the frame that will build out too. He's not limited in that realm.
But I mean, and Jalen Carter with the big play, that was the most overreactive thing. Like, he hasn't played up to his level of what was expected. I think we all agree with that. But the guy's so impactful. And coming off a week where he wasn't there and you saw how they struggled without him.
Right.
It seemed like the worst time to point that out.
That's a big advantage next week versus the Giants. But how many times last week did it look like they had Jackson Dart dead to rights? And he just like skirts and scoots, and then he picks up a first. I was getting so pissed off last week. I think Jalen Carter is going to change that up a lot.
Well, I don't know if he's going to chase down Jackson Dart, but he's
No, I
going
just
to
mean, he's not going to be able to escape the pocket as easy.
like his impact on the game is just because you have to deal with him. I mean, you saw the Hunt touchdown. I mean, that for whatever reason, I don't know if it was a blown assignment or what. He was one-on-one with the center, and that was just a turnstile. I mean, he was on Carson Wentz in a second. Very few people can do that. And the easiest way to affect a quarterback is pressure right up the middle. And you got the big play going the other way. And, a lot of, again, people see the end game and the pick six. That's a Jalen Carter play, man. That's a Jalen Carter play.
Yeah. All right, so other side, what's the concern level on the offensive line?
Well, very concerning. Number one, you got to see what happens with Cam Jurgens. He played 15 snaps, left the game, did not return, knee injury.
Heard anything about that yet, John?
He's getting an MRI, so we should hear something today. If he's going to miss some time, that's an issue because I don't think Brett Toth is a long-term center answer. You might have to move Landon. That's what they did last year when he was out for a small period. But do you really want to do that for a longer period? Drew Kendall, rookie, natural center. He's not going to have trouble snapping the football, at least. You might have to look down that avenue. But yeah, that would be a problem if they lose, even though Cam Jurgens hasn't been playing up to his typical standard. That's a big loss if they lose him.
Yeah. John, yesterday, Jalen Hurts, 4 for under center play action, 4 for 4, 120, and 1 touchdown. Before that game yesterday, they didn't have a single under center play action completion in 2025. Is that on Kevin Fatula? Like how?
Well, they didn't
one play action completion. How?
Like, no offense, but they never did it. So, I mean, like, what is the point of that statistic?
Why? Why didn't they do it? Why?
Because they have a quarterback comfortable being in the gun. His history for his entire career has been pretty successful in the gun, and they really don't play that style of football. And they did it to get the running game going, and it worked for a different reason. So maybe it opens up that door to do it a little bit more. But basically, the only times they were under center is when they're tush pushing, which was pretty successful. But when you talk about, yes, could you do the little trick plays, out of the tush push like they did to who was that, Dallas, or was that Saquon? I forget. The one time they ran a play out of the tush push. By the way, the Vikings had they did a pretty good job on that.
I know. It looked like yeah.
I thought they stopped him on the first. You can't tell, I guess. They gave.
My initial thought was that they did too, honestly. But
yeah, I thought they did, but obviously they gave him a first down. But I thought it was an interesting way to deal with it. But for the standpoint, they just didn't use it, and they tried to use it to get the running game going, and it worked. Similar to, other fashions. It's like, all right, well, it works, so maybe they'll use it more. But for the fact, I mean, they haven't been like. I didn't hear many people complaining about Kellen Moore not being under center, except for the tush push, or Shane or Brian. Well, Brian, yes. They're not an under center team. Now, maybe they'll do it a little bit more. Probably not, but maybe. They're going to be mainly a shotgun team.
There was talk that Jalen Hurts went and said that he wanted to be under center more.
I don't know who's talking that, but I mean, sounds like something you say after a game, and it worked.
I think they got to do it more, man. This running game ain't the same, folks. It ain't the same.
Well, it didn't help with the running game. That was the goal of why they did it, but it didn't help. It helped with the passing game. Probably because Minnesota was surprised that they were actually throwing. That part is correct. But now that it's on tape, on film, people are going to be more cognizant of it. So, I mean, like I said, when it happens, they were on the Devontae touchdown. That is a quintessential old school Oakland Raiders shot play. Under center, play action, traditional play action to the running back, double move.
Yep.
Traditional NFL shot play. And it worked. So people are going to translate, well, that's going to work all the time. It's not going to work all the time. And now that people have seen it, but that's the beauty of creating a tendency and going about it. I always go back to Shane, that Zach Pascal touchdown, if people remember that. He ran that early in the game, that play, and it was Zach Pascal. So everybody thinks he's blocking. So everybody on the field thinks he's blocking. They run the same play. Zach Pascal feigns the block and then goes behind the corner, and they get an easy touchdown. Now, Devontae's a much better player, I'm saying, but you fooled somebody because of your tendency. That's what happened on that play. You fooled somebody because of their tendency. That doesn't mean you can then do it every game. It's no longer then it becomes a tendency in the other direction.
Right.
So it's a play that worked, and it worked beautifully, and maybe they start using it a little bit more, but they're going to be a shotgun team, and they should be.
Yeah, I mean, that's Jalen, obviously Jalen's strength, but I don't like the narrative that he can't play under center. He can't, obviously. He's a professional quarterback. I mean, what the fuck?
Well, I always say anybody can do anything. Can they do it effectively? That's the question.
Right. That's
like when we talk about guys lining, can he line up on the edge? Well, yeah, he can. Can he do it effectively? That's with everybody. Can they take a snap under center and be effective throwing the football? He doesn't have a lot of history in his life, turning his back to you look at these traditional play action quarterbacks, they turn their back to the defense, and you got to be comfortable with that. You got to trust your offensive line. You got to trust everything's going to work. And it's just something, it's not just Jalen Hurts. Most young quarterbacks aren't familiar with, don't do a lot because, again, the college game is completely different and they don't use it for the most part. So that's what they learn. And that's why he's more comfortable doing that. Doesn't mean he can't do it. He obviously just did do it. But to extrapolate that he's going to be really good at that consistently is also kind of jumping the gun a little bit.
We'll see what they end up doing. Let's get some super chats here from the great people of JAKIB Nation. I think a couple of them aren't very happy, but they'll live. They'll live. Here's a dirty air. Oh, no, wait. We got to start earlier here. Here's Sean. How is anybody eating crow? If Jalen can consistently pass the ball over a span of games, then I'll eat crow. 5 bad games, 1 good game ain't enough. Well, I don't think he played 5 bad games, but we need him to play at MVP caliber. All the people who tell me he's elite are all the people who get mad at me for not holding him to an elite standard. An elite standard is an elite standard, whether you like it or not. Yesterday, he played elite, and what happened? The team overcame a shitty running game and a shitty defense. This is the formula this year.
By the way, any concern that he played at that level and it was still shaky at the end?
Well, I don't think it was shaky at the end because of him, though.
But I'm saying there's one play if you stop the 3rd and 13. There's one play if you stop whatever the
yeah, but
AJ
again, that's
play.
not on him. That's because the other parts of the team are struggling.
But I'm saying I'm talking about the other parts of the
Yeah,
team.
well, I mean, look,
I'm saying,
how often do you see Josh Allen have an elite game and you're like, boy, they barely won by the skin of their teeth? Like you always say, John, welcome to the rest of the NFL.
well, that's true, but I mean, that's a high level game that you're not going to be able to replicate. That's what I'm trying to say. And I don't think Minnesota played particularly well, and they were still in the game. Because I said yesterday, I'm like, how are they in this game? I'm talking. It's got nothing to do with Jalen Hurts. If that's what it's got to do with everybody else. Like, how are they still in that game? He won that game for them.
Yeah,
Period.
Which shows you that MVP Hurts is going to be needed week in and week out, John.
Well, yeah, it shows you the rest of the team wasn't as great as most probably think they were.
Sean, appreciate the super chat. I do not think Jalen played 5 bad games. All right. I don't think he played elite, though, in the first 6 weeks. Here's Lauren. 2 words, more meetings.
You can't possibly have more meetings than an NFL team. So there you go. That's a every week thing.
I think
they do.
She's around a little bit, John.
I know. It's all they do. Well, that's why I laugh. No, I'm not. I know he's playing around. I'm saying I laugh when people bring that out. It's like all they do is meet. All they do is meet, to the point of it's kind of comical.
Here's Dirty Air. Did all those third and long runs earlier in the year help set up those third and long bombs yesterday?
Yeah. Come on, Dirty Air, man. You got it. You listen to the show a lot. Like, they set up a couple 4th downs with runs. Sometimes it didn't work. Like, one of the things about, and Detroit does it better than anybody else. So you're sitting there at 3rd and 7, and well, you're running the ball. You're running the ball to get to 4th and 2. So because you're going to go for it. So the Eagles have that mindset into it. Now, also, when it's 3rd and 13 or 3rd and 15, a lot of the times when you're not having the off-schedule success, you are trying to just play field position. You're trying to draw it. You're trying to get 7-8 yards, kick a field goal maybe if you're in the plus side, punt it if you're on the negative side. I mean, this entirety of like it's 3rd and 25, just throw it 25 yards, don't give up. There's a little bit more strategy, and you saw some of it work yesterday, at least on one occasion where it was like a 3rd and 6 or a 3rd and 7, and they got it to 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, and they got it. Where's the credit for those instances? Nobody does it better than Detroit. They do that all the time. All the time. If you have that mindset that you're going for it on 4th down, it changes your 3rd down play call.
Yeah, Dirty Air, appreciate the super chat. Here's Ant Man. What's up, Ant? He says Jalen Hurts so far in 25, 136 and 195, 69.7%, 1498 yards, 54 rush, 185 yards, 16 total tutties, 11 pass, 5 rushing, 1 turnover, 2 turnovers. That's all right, though. 108.9 passer rating. I'm not saying he's playing great, just got to be more consistent. Well, I do agree. I think that's fair.
I don't know. If you were listening to the show, Ant, I said, throw out this game and throw out his worst game, and then use the other games for your stats. And as a wise general manager said to me, I can get the data anywhere, a million places. Make it actionable for me. What does that fucking mean to me? How's that helping me win? I don't care what the numbers say. Jalen Hurts played great yesterday. He's not gonna have 158.3 passer rating. So all the numbers are skewed this week because of the numbers from yesterday. The total numbers, because again, the sample size, no better indication than Devontae Smith, who's now the 6th highest receiving yards in the NFL because of one game. Jalen Hurts played great. Again, if you want, always take out the odd. If you want the real story, take out the best game, take out the worst game, and then formulate the statistics, and you have a better indication of what a player is really doing. You don't look at the high point and say, this is it. And also, football's not a statistical game, which I will say to my dying breath, which might happen quickly because it drives me insane.
Ant-Man, appreciate it, brother. Here's B Pumper. I like Makuba, but the tackling is the least of my concerns. The guy keeps letting receivers get past him in his deep zone.
Yeah, I think the tackling's the biggest problem with Drew, man.
Yeah, I think he's got,
and that'll get. He also had a big hit, though. You see, he's got the willingness, and it's a little bit undersized, but he had a big hit inside the 5-yard line. Stopped the guy cold. He's got potential, but he's missing too many tackles in the open field. As a coverage player, it's pretty darn good for a rookie.
B Pump, appreciate it, brother. Here's Dirty Air again. Pumper, a.k.a. the Carson Wentz of Hurts takes. Oof. Pumper, they're coming for you, brother.
Yeah. The Carson Wentz effect, man. Dude is, oof. He's a trip. He's a roller coaster. But yeah, they're in a bad situation at quarterback, but that ain't the Eagles' problem.
No, it ain't. Here's Vulnerable Vitality. He says, okay, John, you can get it too. Mizzou about to crush the hopes and dreams of your Commodores. I'll save a seat for you on the MU bandwagon. No, Jeff, you can't have it either.
Yeah, I like the quarterback, so, it's not going to change. I mean, I just like his moxie, his competence, his willing. Yeah, that was a shit program for a long time. Had a couple little spikes, but Saban, that SEC show I said on Netflix, that's where I learned about Diego Pavia, and Nick Saban was one of the guys. He was on the whatever pregame show he does, and said the only gimme in on the road in the SEC is playing at Vanderbilt the week that they upset Alabama. Poor Kellen DeBoer had to, and Pavia heard that and was like, I'm gonna fucking beat these guys.
Yeah.
And he fucking beat them.
I do like him. You're right about him. Here's JD3. In 10 to 15 years from now, we will look back on this as the era of Sirianni, the offensive-minded genius building offenses with limited quarterbacks.
Wow. I don't know if that's a joke or what, but Nick rarely gets any credit. He does a good job building offenses around different quarterbacks. He proved that in Indianapolis. That's why he got the job. I tell people all the time. He built 3 different offenses in 3 different years because of circumstance. Andrew Luck retired. They didn't expect it. Very late in the process. It was easy to build an offense around Andrew Luck, but nonetheless, they did a very good job with him. Then they had to build an offense around Jacoby Brissett, which just was entirely different. It was pretty good. And then they had to build an offense around Phillip Rivers, which again was easier, but you have to do it. Completely different quarterback. And then he's built an offense around Jalen Hurts that has been very, very, very successful. Might not look the greatest from style points at times. It did yesterday. Most weeks it doesn't. But it's been very, very, very successful.
JD, good stuff. Appreciate it. Here's Dwayne. Jalen Hurts is the Rodney Dangerfield of the NFL.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Like I said, people in the NFL respect the hell out of Jalen Hurts. You're talking about media people and fans, and to me, that's a different conversation. All I hear in the NFL is, God, this dude's a pain in the ass. And you saw it yesterday. And I'm not talking about the touchdowns and the long throws. I'm talking about 3rd and 9, 3rd and 13, 3rd and 15. That's what kills the defense. And that has nothing to do with Nick Sirianni or Kevin Patullo or play calling or anything else. It's just guy making a play out of nothing. And there's like 5 guys in the world. You want to talk about elite? There's like 5 guys in the world that can do that at Jalen Hurts' level. That's what he's elite at, making something out of nothing. And that drives defensive coordinators or defensive head coaches crazy because you do everything right. Like that fourth down play, Minnesota did everything right except get home after 4 seconds or whatever it was. And he made a play.
Here's Kimberly. Penn State trying to lure Saban out of it. He ain't fucking retiring.
Hey.
Unretiring. The dude's living the dream. He's got a mansion in Jupiter, Florida. He's golfing every weekend, and he works a day a week on college game day. The guy's living the dream, Kimberly.
Well, he might love coaching, but why would he come back to Penn State? Come on.
All right, here we go. B Pumper. Hey, fellas, what y'all think of AJ saying just throw the effing ball when he got that TD? Interesting. I wonder who he's talking about. Sip the tea. I don't think that's what he said, Pumper. I saw a bunch of people put that on social media. I listened to it. I didn't hear that at all.
Yeah, I don't know what he said. I don't care. I mean, it's no secret the ball doesn't come out on time. That hasn't changed. Because of one good game. He's had great games in the past. He's played great in both Super Bowls. This is one of the best. It might be the best game, period, but it's certainly one of the top 2 or 3 games he's ever had. But on the week-to-week basis, when it, again, 3rd and 7, the play's there, the receiver's open.
They're not robots. It's an emotional game. He made a big catch, bro. He made a big catch, and he got fired up about it. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's not. Well, it's like the same thing. It's like Saquon catching the touchdown when we were talking about Devontae. Like people make a big deal out of Devontae lobbying for a play, or Saquon saying, "Oh, we a wheel route we didn't have in the playbook." It's an emotional moment, and people take it like it's gospel. Even though they've seen wheel routes in the offense. It is what it is.
Here we go. Be pumped. Thanks, brother. Real Zeal says, was going under center more about Mantooth struggling with the snap during camp? I mentioned that early in the show, Zeal.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of guys struggled. Trevor Keegan struggled too. He has struggled. Now they had a plan to go in to use more under center, and it was about getting the running game going. Did it increase a little bit? Maybe because of Toth, but they took plenty of shotgun snaps with Brett out there, and he didn't have a bad snap. I don't think, did he? I don't recall one.
No. The only bad snap I saw yesterday was the one that sailed over Carson Wentz.
Yeah, they had a bad snap.
That was a bad snap.
Another, their center is a guard tackle playing center. That's what Brett is, by the way. So, and they had a bad snap. I do not believe he had a bad snap, but he has struggled in training camp for years with that. It's not a natural thing to do for most offensive linemen. But yeah, maybe a little bit, but I don't. But they had a plan to come in, even if Cam was out there, to be under center more because they wanted to get the running game going. And it did not work, and they toggled.
Here's B Pump. Fellas, 158.3 passer rating, but those stats are skewed. It's a whole lot of Jalen chucking deep balls. The AJ seam pass was his best. I said yesterday that was the best throw yesterday. I agree with that, but come on. Pumper, you can't be taken seriously if you can't give credit when credit is earned. Come on, Pump.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who says he didn't play a great game is not paying attention. He played a great game. But the same thing with the outliers. Everybody's spiking the football like everything is solved. Well, maybe it is. But we've seen these types of games before, not at this level, but similar. And it goes back to some of the other games you've seen this year. And that's what you're trying to get to. Now, again, you can't have 158.3 every week, but you're looking for more consistency in the passing game. And it's going to be interesting because I think this week the Giants are going to play a different style of defense and force more on-time throws. And we're going to see if they exist or they don't exist.
Good stuff. Pump. One more super chat, Johnny Mac. Two more. Here's Mirsky. Mirsky, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. He also followed up and said, I'm from Philly. Please tell me BG is back.
He's well, he never left, but he's going to be back. Yeah, probably today or tomorrow. Certainly before practice on Wednesday.
And then one more. SR20 says, didn't Sills say 350-yard game Friday being funny? I don't know. You got to ask Sills that one, my friend. But maybe he did. Sills is always messing with the Eagle fanboys. All right, Johnny Mac, your final thoughts here on a Monday. The Birds are back in the win column. Jalen Hurts has delivered a dominant MVP performance and has silenced the critics for now, Johnny Mac.
Yeah, got a by the way, they just put up the PFF grades. He got a 95.2.
Wow.
95.2. So that is the highest I've seen from a quarterback in a long time. And that tells you he played a tremendous game. Devontae over 90, AJ over 85. So the grades spell out how well they played, and they deserve credit for it. But again, 50-point game. Don't assume it's going to continue unless you want to be depressed, because it's hard to keep up that level of performance.
Yep, no doubt. Johnny Mac, great show today, my friend. We will catch you tomorrow on a Tuesday edition of Birds 365. Maybe we'll talk later today if the BG news breaks.
It might not, but it's coming soon. So
yeah, we'll
I wouldn't worry myself over it.
All right, good stuff. Johnny Mac, thank you, brother. Talk to you tomorrow or maybe later on. We'll see what happens. Thank you, brother.
All right, thanks all.
All right, thanks, J Mac. There's Johnny Mac. John McMullen joining us right here on Birds 365. We got plenty to talk about here on Zander Time. Plenty to talk about here on Zander. I'm right where I want to be. I got the Eagle haters telling me I got my Eagle earmuffs back on. And I got the fanboys. Shut up, all you nerds. All you nerds, shut up. Roll Philly, you better stay put, my friend. I'm coming for your ass. I'm coming for all you guys. All right? Yesterday was a beautiful performance by Jalen Hurts, by the Eagles offense, and getting back in the win column. It's a beautiful thing. All right? Peace is restored in Eagle Kingdom. Peace is restored in Eagle Kingdom. Okay? Almighty Lambo says, Xander, they're finna put you in a crock pot and cook you like stir fry. Shut up, Almighty Lambo. Nobody cooking me. Roll Philly admitted to me. He says, that's the kind of fan I am. I'm a fanboy. I was with Carson Wentz until he wasn't the quarterback anymore. All right? That's okay. He doesn't have to be objective. I'm going to be objective. All right? I'm going to be objective. M. Reyes, Hurts perfect game. Stir fry in a crock pot. I don't know. I don't cook, dude. I wouldn't know. I'm not a cook. Do I look like a chef to you? Do I look like I cook the meals in this household? All right. Do I look like I'm marrying a woman who's not going to be the chef of the household? Is that what I look like to you? Jalenites assemble. Anthony, rally up the troops, Anthony. The Jalenites are here, as they should be. Look, credit was earned yesterday. Jalen Hurts was phenomenal yesterday. As I said on the postgame show, as I said here, as I've said all day, Jalen Hurts was phenomenal. For anybody who likes to think that the first 6 weeks didn't happen because he had a good game yesterday, I will tell you all that you are sadly mistaken. This is exactly what I wanted. This is exactly what everybody who was critical of Jalen Hurts wanted. And if you're going to sit here and say that makes them a bad fan, you don't. First off, who the fuck are you to tell somebody how they should be a fan? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But they weren't wrong. We got to be consistent. This is how we have to play football. When you have a quarterback that people talk about like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, that he's elite, that he's this, that's what we need to see. Defense is struggling. Running game is struggling. Guess what? Your MVP quarterback got to lift you up. And he did that yesterday. And he deserves a ton of credit for it. Okay? He deserves a ton of credit for it. Now let's build on this. You got to be consistent. You're going to have to do it week in and week out. I want to show you guys something. Okay? For all the people who say I'm a flip-flopper, all right, I'm going to dispute your bullshit narrative right now. Okay? Let me load up my book. Okay? March 24th, 2025. March 24th, 2025. See that? All right. Zander's predictions for 2025. 1. The first one. Jalen Hurts will finish top 3 in the MVP voting. Okay? I'll tell you why I put that in a second. Number 8 on the list. Jalen Hurts will throw for 4K yards and 30 touchdowns. You know why I put that? Someone tell me why I put that on my bold predictions. Somebody tell me why I would put Jalen will be in the MVP. Jalen will throw for 4K yards for the first time in his career. Someone tell me why I would put that. Because this team needs the quarterback to elevate the team this year. He did it yesterday, and he deserves credit. He's going to have to do it week in and week out. Stop acting like if you tell me he's elite and then you don't criticize him when he's not elite, you're a fanboy. Just like you, Roll Philly, you're a fanboy. You're a fanboy. It's okay. You admitted to me you're a fanboy. You're allowed to be. I'm not going to tell you how to be a fan. You can be a fan however you want to be a fan. It doesn't bother me. I don't care that you're. Dank says it all the time. I'm a Jalen fanboy. I love Dank. Me and Dank go back and forth all the time. Dank is entitled to be a fanboy and be a fan that way. It's okay. I'm not that guy. It's all right. Agreed, Spa City. Spa City. This is again though the point of Jalen Hurts needs to play like an MVP because the O-line is trash cans right now. The running game can't get going for shit. The defense is a little suspect. And the only way that we're going to win is if Jalen Hurts plays MVP. Oh, see, this is such a stupid comment. Dank, I know you respect, bro. I respect you too. I appreciate you, Dank. Dank is the best kind of fanboy. Here's Roll Philly. Zander, you've changed your tune a lot. That's because he played like shit. We lost 2 games to the Broncos and the Giants. You want me to get new information and keep the same take? What kind of dumbass shit is that? Here's new information. Don't change. Here is new information for you where Jalen Hurts was not playing like an MVP, where we lost to the Giants and the Broncos, where he didn't play great games. You just stay right there. Come on. That's fanboy talk. I didn't change my tune. If you're going to be elite, you're going to be held to elite standards. When you lose to the Broncos and the Giants, guess what? That's not elite standards. It's a lot harder to support. What do you want, bro? You want a cookie because you support Jalen when he doesn't play well? Is that what you want? You want me to bake you up a cookie? Is that what you need? You need a cookie because you supported Jalen? Do you think you get like vanity points or something because you ride for Jalen when nobody else does? Is that what you think you get? Good. Enjoy them. Enjoy the fucking cookie. I don't give a shit. That's not how I do my show. You don't have to listen. All right. Jojo says, Jalen was great. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. He needs to be consistent. I agree. And I think he will be more consistent, honestly. You know, if you look at the last 3 weeks, I'll say this. All right. I can't bake. That's correct. All right. I will say this. The last 3 weeks have been slow incremental improvements in the passing in different areas, but in the passing game. And yesterday he was able to put it all together. Now, the one thing I would say, if you want me to nitpick, and I will nitpick, you know me, I'll nitpick. And incoming all the haters. Here come, look, life is for living. You a goofy. You're a goofy. All right. If you want me to nitpick yesterday, and I think this is on the coaching staff, they don't do anything easy. They don't make anything easy for Jalen Hurts. Even yesterday, Jalen Hurts delivered a 158.3 in a perfect passer game, and everything was down the field. Everything was down the field. They don't give him any quick routes. They don't give him any A.J. Brown slants. They don't give him any underneath screen passes. They don't give him any quick outs. Nothing. It's all pushing it down the field. I don't know if that's something you can be consistent with week in and week out. As John was alluding to today, like when you get a cover 2 defense, you're not going to be able to push it down the field every play. You got to dissect those defenses differently, And that's where the run game is going to be an issue, by the way. How do you beat a cover 2? How do you beat cover 2? You run the ball down their throat and get them out of cover 2. If we can't run the ball, it's going to be tough sledding. So the running game is an issue. Now, I posed the question earlier to John. I'll see what you guys think of it. Is it time for this team to be a passing team? Is it time to be a passing team? All right, and I don't mean abandon the run. I don't mean never run. I'm just saying the last year and change, we've buttered our bread on being a running team. Is it time to just put the ball in Jalen's hands and sink or swim that way? Look, I'd almost rather do that. Roll Philly says, I hate looking stupid. I don't think I look stupid at all. And I am, you got anybody who watches me longer than 1 day or 1 week knows that if I'm wrong, I say it. I have no problem saying I'm wrong. If you think I'm going to sit up here and act like I'm right about football every single day, first off, and this is fine, but you guys don't broadcast for 6 hours a day on football, okay? When you do that, you're going to have more things that come out of your mouth that are wrong, okay? That's just the nature of the beast, okay? But I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. No problem. And in fact, there's a good chance I'm wrong about football more than I'm right, as most people who are honest and commentate about football are. But if you think I look stupid because we needed the elite quarterback to play like an elite quarterback, and he finally did that, and now you think it made me look stupid, in fact, I think I did my job. Thank you, Jalen Hurts. Welcome to the 2025 campaign, my friend. We need you out there. All right? We need you out there, my friend. No, I'm not holding them to that standard, Dank. Dank, it's 2 extremes, though. Where does the truth lie, Dank? 158.3, agreed. It's stupid. Not going to do it again. All right? But you also have to be better than he was weeks 1 through 6. You're going to have to lift the team up more. We're going to have to get more out of Jalen Hurts. More consistency. I think it's really stupid to expect 158. I don't think anybody does, to be honest with you. I don't think anybody does expect 158.3. That's a crazy comment. But it was a good thing to see him elevate the team yesterday. Spa City, the run blocking is absolute pitiful. It's the worst part about this offense right now, easily. They're actually holding up in pass blocking. They're actually holding up in pass blocking well. It's the run blocking that sucks. Saquon's getting – I'm sorry. I do not agree with John and Sills. Both of them are starting to think, well, 7 games now. I think something might be wrong with Saquon, or Saquon might have lost a step, or this is – I don't think it's at all Saquon. Maybe there's some moments where Saquon could do a little bit better or make a different cut or get upfield a little quicker. Maybe, but, dude, 8 tackle for losses yesterday for the Vikings. It almost feels like a third of the runs that Saquon gets, he's hit. It's like Jalen hands the ball off, boom, contact. It's like immediate contact. Yeah, that's what I mean. Catch, you get hit the handoff half the time. I really don't think it's on Saquon, but, it is what it is. The unfortunate reality about the run game right now is it kind of looks bleak in terms of when you think it's going to get better. You know, like, I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? I'll gauge the chat on that. The run blocking doesn't feel like it's going to get all that much better this year, at least right now. I mean, maybe Cam Jurgens gets healthy all of a sudden. I don't know if I see that. Maybe Landon gets healthy and returns to form. I don't know if I see that. I think Tyler Steen has been awesome in pass blocking. I don't think he's a great run blocker. I don't know if that improves. Oh, roll Philly. You're a sit. Roll Philly. I'm done with you for the day. I'm done with you for the day. Here we go. B Pump says Jalen once in a blue moon hurts. Flexing and Steppin says some of y'all are Hurts benders and it's okay. I agree, Flex. I ain't gonna tell anybody how to be a fan, but we got a lot of Hurts benders in here. All right. We got a lot of Hurts bender boys. Big Dom, what's up, Big Dom? Didn't chuck 19 deep balls, right? Finally passes over the middle, corner edge. Let's get O-line help now. Block and tight end help. Let's fix the run. Big Dom, good takes. Good takes. We do have to fix the run. It looks bleak to me in terms of fixing the run. I don't necessarily know what that looks like. Spa City! Who remembers my instant reaction show to the trade for Tank Bigsby? Who remembers my instant reaction show to the trade for Tank Bigsby? Who remembers it? A lot of you guys were giving me shit for it a week ago, so I know some of you remember it. Some of you remember because some dude said, oh, Xander, you were all jacked up on Tank Bigsby. Yeah, well, I thought he could be running back too. Because I don't know about you, but I've never been a Will Shipley guy. Will, you could stay at running back 3. I think that's a better role for you. All right? I think that's a better role. By the way, we better get Howard Eskin on this week. That'll be hilarious. Thank you. Spa City. Most people are like this, but it's always the two extremes that are the loudest. All right. He said we all make mistakes. Keith, point to my mistakes. What are they? I'm open to hear them, but I'm not sure I'll agree. Oh, Gregorio, that is some bullshit. That is some bullshit, bro. He says Xander was talking like Tank was the next Walter Payton. Oh, come on, Gregorio. Here's Life is for Living. You a Birds fan and seen 2 Super Bowls in your life. How you hating on the guy that give us our second chip, Goofy? All right, Life is for Living. Go back to the parade float, dog. That shit's over. You keep talking like that for the next 30 years, you'll be a Cowboy fan. All right, I don't think like that. That's what Cowboy fans do. How many times have you heard the Cowboys lose and they come on here and they're like, well, Dak Prescott played good. Well, at least we have Dak Prescott. That's like the Jalen Hurts fanboys. Eagles lose the game and they're like, oh, my God, how are you talking about Jalen Hurts? Ah! Shut up. All you fucking nerds. You sound like Cowboy Eagle fans. This is the new breed that's happening in our fan base. I'm sure some of you see it. I think it's the social media generation. Eagle fans are turning. Maybe the success is getting to our head. We have Cowboy Eagle fans infiltrating the fan base. Because anybody who lives in this area knows being an Eagle fan is not, you don't walk around, oh my God, we are the greatest team in the world. And our quarterback, I love him with all my heart. All right. They started drinking coconut. Hey, I'll tell you what, that's unfortunate to hear because I do like coconut water. Yes, we do have a giveaway this week. I'm going to give this one to Roll Philly Dogs. Where's Roll Philly Dogs? We got that Jalen Hurts. You know, I was joking. I was joking yesterday. The Hurts jerseys, they stopped selling, man. I don't know what happened the last couple of weeks. The NFL called, and they were like, man, He was the top-selling jersey all summer. He was the top-selling jersey all summer. Through 6 weeks, he dropped off. Now they're back selling like hotcakes. The Jalen Hurts are back selling like hotcakes. Oh, that's classic. That is classic. All right. Zaddy, you got to get off the creamy juice. What, the coconut water? Here's Bird Season. You don't have to be a Jalen fanboy, but you've watched the man do it all for years. Well, not really. Why doubt a man that constantly comes through? Well, you're right. Maybe I was too hard on him, but I don't really give a shit. I mean, it is what it is. The team lost 2 straight games to the Broncos and the Giants. Are you under the belief that the Broncos or the Giants should have beat us? Because I'm not. We got doubled up by Cam Scattaboo and Jackson Dart without Malik Neighbors. You know? I thought the quarterback needed to be better, and he was, and that's what I said. He deserves credit now for being better. That doesn't mean when he doesn't play well or do his job well or elevate the team as an elite quarterback that he's above criticism. As Boss Diddy says, make sure you handle that, Xander. Cook Sills today. I'm going to have to try and cook him, but you know he's going to hold some shit against me too. That's all right, though. Welcome to Talking About Sports. Oh, Fern Rock. That's a dusty station, Flex. I avoid Fern Rock. I used to take Fern Rock to school, Flex. Before I got my license and when I went to prep, and my dad was always working hard, obviously, so he couldn't drive me all the way in. He would drive. Fern Rock's about 10 minutes from me. He would drive me down to Fern Rock, drop me off at Fern Rock early in the morning. I'd wait for the express sub. I'd take it right down to Girard Avenue and jump off. Or if it was an express, it might have only went to City Hall, and then you got to get on the other sub now to go back to Girard Ave. My boy got jumped at the Girard stop, so I was always sketchy on that, but Fern Rock blows. All right. Can't we throw out the Giants game? I think it's fair. All right. I think that's fair. Let's see what this numbnuts is saying. Xander likes to laugh and crack on Hurts, but don't defend Hurts after a bad game. Or you're a fanboy. Y'all are pitiful. A bunch of McKee munchers and Burrow boys like I appreciate you clapping back, all right? I appreciate you clapping back. But at the end of the day, I don't really give a shit. He said, D. Hurts says, nah, what up now, Xander? Yo, Hurts finally played like an elite quarterback, D. Hurts. Aren't you happy? Aren't you happy? You tell me every day he's elite. All right, good. He was elite yesterday. Welcome to the party. Welcome to being elite. You're right. It is all fun. I like sports talk because I like when I don't agree with people. Like I'm not like a lot of people are like, Dan Orlovsky said something I don't like. I hate him. Or Ro Philly, I was joking about you with this in the DMs. All the Eagles fans who are like, Cam Newton doesn't know anything about football. I'm like, yeah, you're right. A fucking MVP of the league, first overall pick, a guy who was damn near a Super Bowl winner and who took the league by storm, doesn't know football because you don't agree with his takes. Now, that is some fanboy shit if I've ever heard it. Cam Newton doesn't know football. Oh, come on. Come on. Like people in the chat know more football than Cam Newton. That's pretty funny. Yeah, Roll Philly, you do sometimes. Don't act like you're immune to that. Daniel, let's get to the point. Guys, I don't know. I think I saw this in the Discord. Guys, I've been doing this a long time. I've been with Stills for 5 years. You don't need to read into his tweets that much. I promise you. I'm going to put it at precisely a 0.0% chance of happening. Sig Lord, Abe, all you guys talking about it, you must be new to Sills' tweets. You must be new to that. You can go back and scan the timeline for 5 years. 0.0% chance of happening, okay? But I get it. I understand your takes. I understand why you said that. There's a 0% chance of that happening, okay? I promise you. I promise you. No, Sills tweeted out that Flex, they got to stop falling for it, man. They got to stop falling for it. It is what it is, though. Now, Sills tweeted out that WIP and 97.5 The Fanatic called him. Which is great if he gets calls. That's a credit to us. Kibo says, the last 5 years we've been a contender, nothing to bitch about. Well, Kibo, you have the ability to sit on your keyboard, and when things don't look good, you can just not show up. I have to be here every day. This is how I make money. This is how I put food on the table. This is how I, feed my family. This is how I make a living, my friend. I got to be here every day talking about it. If you think I can just come up here and say, for the last 5 years, we've been really good, so I have nothing to talk about and nothing bad to say. That's not how sports talk works, man. That's not how sports talk works. I got to talk about it every day in and day out. Good, bad, indifferent. That's the nature of the beast. Sometimes I'm going to say some things you don't agree with. Underdog. I try telling these people this. All right, I tried telling people this. Sil's trying to get JAKIB to pay him more. Well, I pay him already fucking a lot, guys. Please, don't hear him. Don't miss me with that bullshit. All right? A lot of you would dream to make what Sills is making to do a 4-hour show about the Eagles every day. All right? Here's Caesar. Caesar says, I thought we were all adults here. Caesar, I sent you some more JAKIB merch. I'm upset about your sweatshirt, by the way. I'm going to send you a new one, I think. He says, clearly not. Let's come back to a world where people are held accountable. Hurts played excellent yesterday, but not on previous games. Come on, people. Let's be real. Caesar, sometimes common sense is not so common. All right? Bird season, this is actually a very fair comment. He says, I'm under the belief it's the NFL any given Sunday. That's completely fair. All right? I think that's fair. All right? I think that's completely fair. I do. Ian East says, "Damn, Z, that's a worse." Nah, Ian East, you don't know the business. JoJo, you guys are all clowns. I love you all, but you are. D. Hurts says, "Sounds like drug dealers. Many ways to feed family." Are you saying that as a sports talker and I started the business in around the Eagles that I'm like a drug dealer? Nah, that was in college. I was the weed man. In college, I might have been the weed man. Not today, though. All right. Underdog, that's how I see it, but most people don't. Roll Philly, I don't think AJ was saying that. I really don't. I really don't. I don't think that was AJ. I don't think AJ was saying that. I think he was just talking shit after making a big play, dude. All right. I think he was talking shit after making a big play. That's what players do. It's an emotional game. These are human beings. I always hate people who remove the human element of the game. They're human beings. It's the same shit I say about getting AJ Brown the football, because so many people come in and say AJ should just shut up and accept it. I'm like, dude, AJ believes he should be in the Hall of Fame. He doesn't give a fuck what you say. AJ thinks he should be in the Hall of Fame. He wants the football. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. You want AJ Brown to want the football. I promise you do. So I don't look at that as a negative thing at all. And I also, but even on a real note, Roll Philly, I don't think that's what he said. Like, somebody put out a quote of what he said. I didn't hear that at all. I listened to it 30 times. I didn't hear what people said he said. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm cool with AJ expressing some emotion. All right? Think about it, man. Jerry Rice isn't Jerry Rice without Joe Montana. All right? Now, maybe he'd still be dominant. I'm sure he would. Obviously, it's Jerry fucking Rice. But you get my point. AJ needs to get the football to get his respect. In 10 years, when we look back on his career and he's done and dusted and he hung up the cleats, you know. All right, so Curtis is going to upset the Jalenites today, and I'm all right with it. Let's have the conversation as we always do here on the show. All right. I think probably does anybody have criticisms about the offense yesterday? Does anybody have any criticisms about the offense yesterday? I'd like to hear what they are if you have them. I'd like to hear what they are if you have them. Does anybody have any criticisms of the offense? Catch says too many 3-and-outs. Daz says run blocking. That's the obvious one, man. They can't run block for shit. O-line, going to be a lot of O-line. Run game sucks. All right, 3-and-outs. I think that's a good one. Lack of depth on the O-line. Clearly, Howard, a big problem. Run blocking, not many underneath routes. ZM, I alluded to that earlier. Line needs to be more in sync. Too reliant on the Brandon. I'm going to get to that. Brandon, that's a good take by you. All the impressive stuff was scramble drills. Josh B., I know you're a good listener. If you listen to the show today, John referenced that, a lot of off-schedule stuff, which is not something you can build an offense around. All right. Ian East says, in the first half, after the first drive, it reverted to type 3-and-out on repeat, and second half was great. Third quarter was really excellent by Jalen Hurts. Original Philly says that Jerry Rayford references why you don't like. Who said I don't like Jalen? Are you guys serious? Are you guys fucking serious? I have a number 2 Eagles Jalen Hurts jersey in my fucking closet. Who said I don't like Jalen? Because I was critical of him when I said he needed to elevate and be elite? Holy shit, Original Philly. You really are a fanboy. Z, I don't mind him being fired up. Just be positive. That's why I love Smitty. Well, I don't know if you're aware of, Smitty, I think, has more gripes than you think. Sig Lord says, I'd like to see Jalen scramble more when he gets flushed out. He's a good runner, but doesn't run anymore. Well, Sig Lord, yesterday, my favorite part was he looked downfield. When you break the pocket and you only run, you might miss plays downfield. Yesterday, he kept his eyes downfield. That 4th and 4, he could have scrambled. That 4th and 4, go rewatch the 4th and 4. He could have scrambled and picked up the first down. He would have gotten 8 yards, but he got a 37-yard touchdown. Keep the eyes downfield. I thought that was an improvement for Jalen. I see that a little differently. All right. Still too many idiot calls and poor route schemes. I agree with that. 4th and 4, perfect example of that. If Jalen doesn't extend that play and point to AJ to go deep, that was an awful. All right. That was an awful take or an awful play call. The man has a painting of Jalen. That was underdog. Relax. That was given to me. All right. It was given to me by somebody who's a big fan of the channel. You want me to? My frame broke for it. Look, it's 1 of 200. That was given to me. What's that say? 50 out of 2,000 or something? I'm going to send this to Roll Philly Dog. Roll Philly Dogs. I'm going to send the Jalen painting to you, dog. Yeah, Spa says, damn right. I like how he's not bailing out of the pocket. Yeah, but even when he bailed out of the pocket, Spa City, here's the thing with Jalen. You're going to have to live with some of the bailing out of the pocket because that's kind of what makes him a special player. You know what I mean? Like that is part of what makes him a special player where he can make plays when things break down more than most can. Yesterday, Carson Wentz, things break down. He ain't fucking making plays, man. He ain't. He used to, but he doesn't anymore. All right, so this is my no, Roll Philly. It legitimately fell off my wall. It was on the wall, and I was trying not to because I didn't have a stud where I wanted to hang it. I don't know. Whoever built this fucking thing, they didn't build this. Is not a very well-built studio structurally in terms of, the studs and stuff. So I used the command things to stick it on the wall. This shit just fell one night. I came down and it was broken on the ground. I'm like, oh, damn. This is what it is. I don't go to Halloween parties, Joe Whip. Do I look like the kind of guy that does Halloween to you? Do I look like the kind of guy that does Halloween to you? I do. These are Chinese walls. Chinese walls. All right. All right. So the problem I would say with the offense yesterday for me would be you had 3 scoring drives. One of them was a go ball. The 4th and 4 was, let's be real, if Jalen doesn't extend that play and point to AJ, that was not going to be a touchdown there. So it was still a little bit boom or bust. Like, I want to see more underneath stuff. I want to see more consistent things that they can build on. At the end of the day, you can't come in every week and just say, I'm going to hit 3 shot plays today. Boom. Like, if that's not there, where is the offense? Where is the underneath stuff? Where is the quick slants? Where is some of that stuff still isn't there? It's not there. And that would be my concern on the offense, where if you're going to be consistent week in and week out, you got to get more of that in the game. You have to get more of that in the game. All right? That would be my one knock, probably. And I don't think Kevin Petula was that great still. I mean, that 3rd and 5 run call, Jalen's cooking in the third quarter, whenever that was. They get down, closer, 3rd and 5, and they run the ball. Then they missed a field goal. I know why they missed a field goal. Somebody said it on the post-game show. Fucking missed a field goal because they shot themselves in the foot with the momentum. 3rd and 5, Jalen Hurts is cooking on the drive, and you run the ball? They weren't running the ball all fucking day. Put it in the quarterback's hands. Original Philly, thanks for becoming a member, brother. What'd you bail on me because I wasn't speaking about your quarterback the way you wanted me to speak about him? I always say I don't want people to be a JAKIB fan if they need to agree with my take. If you're only here because you want to hear stuff you like about Jalen, you're going to be gone soon. You're going to be gone soon. I want people who are here for the sports talk. Good, bad, and different. Agree, disagree, don't agree. It is what it is. That's what I want. Those are the kind of fans who are going to be here for the long haul. Not people who only want to hear what they think. Because you're going to flake. Eventually, I'm going to disagree with you. All my biggest haters are becoming a member today. Almighty Lambo becomes a member. Thank you, Almighty Lambo. Appreciate it, brother. Perfect passer rating. It was a great game, D. Hurts. Dank says, saying he can't read a defense is so dumb. Dank, I think he struggles still with progressions, though. Like, getting to his later progressions is still a challenge for him, in my opinion, compared to other people. Original Philly says, see what happens when Jalen wins. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Listen, I want Jalen to win, brother. I never suggested trading Hurts. Who was saying that shit in the chat? You were saying bench Jalen. No, I fucking wasn't. No, I wasn't. I was willing to hear the conversation about why another skill set might work for the offense as it's constructed today, which is a fair conversation when you can't run the ball. I agree with that, Dank. A little different. Yeah, roll Philly. I was legitimately. You think the Jalen? That's when the Jalen poster came off the wall. 3rd and 5. You call the run there. I wasn't flirting with it. That's wrong. I was simply being critical of the quarterback who you guys tell me is elite, bro. Roll Philly. Is he elite or not? Roll Philly. Is Jalen Hurts elite? Give me a one-word answer. I don't need your bullshit soliloquies. One-word answer. Is Jalen Hurts elite? Is Jalen Hurts elite? One-word answer. I'm not pulling it up. Is Jalen Hurts elite? You guys can't. A lot of you just can't give a one-word answer. Yes. Then hold him to an elite standard. That's all I'm asking. Then hold him to an elite standard. That doesn't mean he has to be perfect every week. But it does mean you can't put up 17 points to the New York Giants and then think you're going to get away with it. All right? I always laugh. We got a lot of great Eagle fans, and I love a lot of them. But this is where we go into Cowboy Delulu land. You know, if Jaden Daniels did what the Eagles did last week to the Giants and got doubled up, we'd be ripping them. If Dak Prescott did that, we'd be ripping them. Jalen Hurts didn't, you got to elevate. You got to elevate. Is the sky blue? That's pretty hilarious. Xander, ask J-Mac and he'll say, well, John always has a way to explain himself out of it. I do, but even Allen Burrow, Lamar, Mahomes have had at least one stink. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, absolutely. No one has played a perfect 17. I don't think he needs to play a perfect 17. But losing to the Broncos and the Giants back to back with the weapons that we have is pretty unacceptable in my opinion. Now, if you don't want to hold them to that standard and you're going to cake for them, like you've already said that you will, Roll Philly, which is fine. I'm not mad at you for being that type of fan. There's plenty of fans who are like that. There's plenty of fans who are like that. Mahomes has been bad in plenty of games. Jason, I hate to say this, but Mahomes' team is not that good around him. I mean, they're talking about Rashee Rice like he's AJ Brown. He ain't. And neither is Xavier Worthy. That guy's a Temu Tyreek Hill. He's a fucking Temu Tyreek Hill. He's a taller Temu Tyreek Hill. I'm not even sure Xavier Worthy's all that good. All right. Exactly, Waddington. Thank you. Losing to the Giants just pisses me off. Google says the elite quarterbacks in the NFL currently include Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen. Temu. Speaking of Temu, we've had a Temu offseason, and that defense is looking like it, isn't it? That defense is looking more and more Temu, bro. Johnny Mac's take of the offseason was the Temu take because this defense is not that good. And I don't want to hear anything about Vic Fangio. Please. I don't want to hear any bullshit about Vic Fangio. They took all this dude's talent away, gave him a bunch of Temu scrubs, and are expecting him to lift the team to victory. This is why Jalen needs to be an MVP this year. I'm telling you right now, you guys better thank me for the way I'm talking about Jay Hurts because we need elite or we're cooked. Flex, thanks for the super chat, brother. Flexen says, if you don't like what we're saying about Jalen, get the fuck out of here. I love it, Flex. I appreciate it, Flex. I'll leave that up for a little bit. Flex, thanks for the $10, brother. Appreciate your support. Flex, Flex, I don't know if you were here last night, Flex. And Roll Philly, I'm about to call you out too. M. Reyes is telling me how to be a fan on the postgame show last night after everybody left. And I posed to M. Reyes. I don't know if he's in here right now. Have you ever even been to the city of Have you ever even been here? Have you ever even been to Philadelphia? That you're telling me how I'm supposed to be an Eagle fan. I've been an Eagle fan my whole life. And now people who've never even been in our fucking city are going to tell me how to be a fan. And Reyes responded with, no, I've never been to Philly. I said, all right, so sit down and shut up. Sit down and shut the hell up. Roll Philly, you're in Texas. Roll Philly, you ever been to Philadelphia? Roll Philly dogs. You ever been to Philadelphia? You ever been to Philadelphia? You ever been to Philadelphia? Now, I'm not going to say you can't be a fan if you've never been to Philly. But if you've never been to Philly, don't come in here and tell me how to root for my team. Sit down and shut the hell up. All right? Roll Philly Dogs is silent now. He's like, shit, I've never been to Philly. I've never been to Philly. What am I supposed to say? How can I get Zander now? It's tragic. It's tragic, D. Reddick. All the people who never been to Philly are the people who tell the people in Philly how to be a fan of Philly. All right. Been twice, only for a couple days. Once for – oh, did you play hockey? I played hockey too. Love hockey. Nobody knows what it's like. D. Reddick, I'm trying to tell these people, man. I walk into the post office. I tell this story all the time. I'm friends with the guy in the post office. He's a JAKIB fan. He listens to JAKIB, and he manages all my giveaways. I gave him a jersey. He manages all the giveaways. Well, not manages it, but I bring the jerseys up to ship them, and I give them to the post office guy. And we always talk Eagles for a little bit. You know, I go in there, and he's like, man, this fucking pass the game. If they can't start to pass the rock, man, I'm going to lose my shit. That's what he's saying to me. That's what people in Philadelphia say. People in Philadelphia don't walk around like, you can never say a word about our quarterback. That's not what people sound like here. I know some of you might think that, but that's not what people talk like in Philly. I told you, at Screwballs last week on Thursday night, all the people there, Eagle Al picked against the Eagles for the first time in 5 years. All right, they weren't happy with the Birds' performance. All right. It's a classic. Roll Philly. I love hockey, man. That's dope. I played travel for a long time, too. I was AAA up here, man. Yeah. Underdog. I remember when somebody was mad at Underdog because Underdog's not a Jalen guy. And somebody was bitching at Underdog, and he dropped his address. Literally the middle of Philly. He dropped his address. Show up at my door, bitch. Underdog, they can't tell you how to be an Eagle fan, brother. They're not allowed to do that. All right? Should all your relationships be with a person from your hometown? I don't know what you mean by that. No. We got plenty of people in here who aren't from Philly. I'm not saying you have to be from Philly. I'm just saying if you aren't, don't tell me how to root for my team. Lucius says, who the fuck is Eagle Al? Eagle Al's been coming to our Thursday night show for years, Lucius. He's the ultimate Eagle fan. Every week he shows up in a different jersey. He never picks against the Birds. He's the ultimate Jalen super fan. He loves the Eagles. And last week he showed up and he's like, man, this team sucks. This team stinks. I'm telling you, man, losing to the Giants does things to Eagles fans. It just does. All right. It is what it is. Dank says, someone said it's stupid or not. No, I don't think that. Dank. I think those fans are welcome. I'm just not going to tell somebody how to, tell me how to be a fan. Look, Almighty Lambo, let me guess, you're not in Philly. There's people in Philly who hate the Eagles with a passion too. You don't got to like the team from your home state. Roll Philly, yes, sir. I played goalie. I always show this off because I fucking love this thing. I always show this off. Look, there's my beautiful cross. St. Joe's Prep on one side, Zan on the mask, and then I have that was my goalie coach. Z Tending was my goalie coach. So my goalie coach is John Zadunkowitz. His name was Z Tending. That was his logo. And I loved it because it had a Z on there. Cross is the best part, though. I got this made when I was in high school. Love that goalie mask. I'm cooking this goofball on X who's a cow. I never got that. How are you a Cowboy fan if you grew up in Philly? All right, maybe if you're not an Eagle fan, or what? How are you a Cowboy fan, though? Here's Sentex Bird. All right, see, now I got all the... I didn't mean to offend anybody who doesn't live in Philly. I'm just telling you, if you don't live in Philly, Don't fucking tell me how to root for my team. I'm not saying there's no fans who aren't in Philly. Been an Eagle fan for 35 years, living in Texas. F the Cowboys. I love it. All right. Spouse City gets it. He says, Xander, losing to the Giants have you ready to beat up the first motherfucker. Yeah, I was me on the shows last week. Celia was joking about it. He's like, Xander's the most angry I've ever seen him. All right. They Temu fans, Xander. They might be. All right. They Temu fans, brother. That's pretty funny. That is classic. That is classic. All right, everybody. Good show, man. Good Xander time. Appreciate you guys doing it. Let me make sure I got all my super chats. I did. Thanks, everybody. Original Philly, thanks for becoming a member, bro. Almighty Lambo, thanks for becoming a member. I don't know what state you're in or what country you're in for that matter, but I appreciate you checking in, brother, and being a member. We need a watch party, Z. Underdog, maybe I'll have it here. I got a beautiful studio. I can get a couple TVs in this bitch. Come on, man. I'll do that. I gotta work though. Game days are a work day for me, you know. It used to be make the wings, get some pizza, kick your feet up, and enjoy some Eagles football. That's not my life anymore, which is good. I don't mind it. I love it. I'm blessed. I'd rather be doing this than other shit. So now it's tomorrow. Brandon, come on. You've been here long enough to know. Tuesdays are our giveaway day. Brandon, what are you new here, Brandon? Brandon. Tuesdays are the giveaway day. We got this Jalen Hurts jersey. By the way, Texas T, if you're in here listening, I saw your message about you don't want Kelly Green. I'm trying to get you midnight. It's a little harder for me to get, but I'm trying to get it. So Texas T, just give me a couple more days. I should be able to get it. I think I'm going to be able to get it. Everybody else who won a giveaway should be sent or they got it. Philly Don, I sent your hat. Chasen, you probably got your jersey, or maybe you'll get it this week. I sent it on Friday. Pin, I think you got your merch. Abe, you should have got your merch. Brandon Howard, did you get your hat yet? Brandon Howard, did you get your hat yet? Texas T, just give me a day or two. He'll tell me if he can't get it. D'Anthony Harris says, Xander, Dick Banjo. Is that your nickname for Vic Fangio? Bro, blame Howie Roseman. He stripped his whole defense. Vic Fangio showed up and gave us the #1 defense in football, and Howie said, fuck you, Vic. I'm taking all your talent. Come on, D'Anthony. You can't be mad at Vic Fangio. You absolutely cannot be mad at Vic Fangio. You gotta be kidding me, dog. Are you kidding me, D'Anthony? He called him Dick Banjo. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, no. Philly, Don, you had some packages stolen? That shit might have been in there, bro. Let me go check. Oh, man. What's up with everybody getting their packages stolen? All these crooks out there. Nobody comes to my front door. I stay strapped around here. Let me look. No, it doesn't say it delivered yet. Wait, I'll get you the update. Nope, it didn't deliver yet. You're good, Philly Don. I'll send you the tracking number in your email. I'll send you the tracking number. I can't believe that guy called him Dick Banjo. That is nuts, bro. Dick Banjo. That is crazy. Jason Big, thanks for becoming a member, brother. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. All right. Xander cyberbullying me today. I can't be cyberbullying. I'm speaking on the show. You want to come on? I'll drop you the link right now. Come on and defend yourself. Are you mad I exposed that you're from Iowa or Arkansas? Are you from Arkansas, bro? Are you from Arkansas? I can't believe that dude called Vic Fangio Dick Banjo, man. Underdog, I hate thieves. I fucking hate thieves. You low-life scums. I hate thieves too. I agree. It's a great word for them. Disgusting. Shitty people. No, Boston. What are you, Arkansas? Yeah, don't tell me you're Arkansas. Please don't tell. Spot, I sent you a jersey a couple years ago, didn't I? You won one of our first jerseys last year. Oh, my God. Don't tell me you're Arkansas. Are you Arkansas or are you Kansas? You gotta be kidding me, man. You guys see what I'm dealing with? Spa City's out there in Arkansas. I know. I knew I sent your jersey to Arkansas. That's funny shit, man. Oh, Spa City says, get off my state. Oh, that is classic. That is classic. All right. Hot Springs is Spa City, Z. Oh, all right. I didn't know that. That's some geography lessons for me right there. Z does the jersey giveaway just to get your Addy. Bro, I got like 80 Addies. You think I give a fuck about somebody's Addy? Fuck. People are weird. All right. People got my Addy too. Good. Show up. See what happens. All right. Now, I can't deal with a liar either. Aishan. That's why I come up here and speak my truth about the Eagles. Whether I'm right or wrong, I'm always going to be honest. And some people will not like that because they'd rather me lie to them and say, I'm a Jalen Hurts ultimate defender. If I think Jalen plays like dog water, I'm going to say it. If I think he's got to be better, I'm going to say it. I can't lie. I am incapable of lying. Believe me, I've gotten myself into trouble in my life many times because I can't lie. My girlfriend said, my fiance, she's not my girlfriend anymore. She says that to me all the time. Can't you just lie to steady the water? No. I would rather upset some people and be honest than be a liar. I ain't no damn liar, man. I don't like liars. Liars can't be trusted, obviously. Liars can't be trusted. Liars and thieves, both of them, obviously can't be trusted. All right, I love all you guys, man. Fun show. It's always a fun show. It's always a fun show on JAKIB Sports. Bring back great sports talk. Make sports talk great again. Somebody make me the JAKIB hat. Make sports talk great again. Make sports talk great again. I don't want butterball sports talk. I don't want butterball sports talk. Not in this city, I don't. All right, love all you guys. And that's TGA. That's classic. That is classic. I think Oregon Steaks is still open. I've had Oregon Steaks. Let me look. Who's down in South Philly? Last week I got Delco Steaks, and I got D'Alessandro's over the weekend. Boy, I put up a tweet of a picture of D'Alessandro's. All these people coming in and out. Bob, oh, no, this place is great. This place sucks. I'm like, it's still a solid steak. All right. And Philly Don reminds me, says, Xander, keep doing you. Lying is a sin and so is stealing. That's correct, Philly Don. Brandon, let me check in your hat, bro. What is up with this shit? Brandon, it's Brandon. Oh, no way. Brandon, it's time to move out of Canada, bro. Brandon, it's time to move out of Canada. Siglord says, Z, is Chubby's really shitting out? See, Sig, back in the day, when D'Alessandro's was first getting all that hype, I used to think Chubby's was better. I would go across the street, get a Chubby's. I told you guys I used to do these cheesesteak tours. I had a Chubby's a couple weeks ago. I'm not gonna lie. You know when you get a cheesesteak, you know I'm eating some crappy food. Yeah, Delco Steaks is fire, underdog. I'm eating some shitty food, so I want it to at least taste good. right? I'm inching myself closer to a heart attack while every time I eat a cheesesteak. So if I'm going to eat a cheesesteak, I at least want it to taste pretty good. I got Chubby's and I was like, this isn't even worth it. This isn't even worth it. I was pretty upset because Chubby's used to be fire. And here, look at all the ditties in the chat. Look at all the ditties in the chat. All right, I'm seeing a dilemma with the hats, folks. I see what's happening now. Who else got a hat? Oh, this sucks. I think the supplier is out of hats right now. That's what I think is happening. Pin, where's Pin? Is Pin in here? Angelo's is amazing. Angelo's is a fire spot, no doubt. Damn, I got to go and check on this shit. Wait, Abe, you got your hat, right? Abe, I thought I saw in your picture that you got your hat. See, that's crazy because I ordered Brandon Howard's hat the same day that I ordered Abe's hat. And Brandon Howard's, it says suppliers out of stock. And Abe, I think, got his hat. Damn. I'm going to have to go and custom make some hats. I might have to go and cut. Yeah, this is it. This is the hat. Maybe I'll custom make some for the great people. Philly Don, don't worry, I'll make it right. Brandon Howard, don't worry, I'll make it right. Pin, don't worry, I'll make it right. Pin said, thank you for my merch. Pin, you didn't even get half of it. You didn't even get half of it. It's tragic. Damn, man. Damn. But, all right, love all you guys, man. Good show. Let's keep up the great sports talk here on JAKIB Sports. All right? And we will continue to do that. In all seriousness, though, yesterday was a beautiful thing for every Eagle fan out there. All right? It was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing. They won the game. Jalen Hurts delivered a masterful performance. Devontae Smith got involved. A.J. Brown got involved. I mean, it was a thing of beauty. All right, I enjoyed it immensely. So yesterday was a great day to be an Eagle fan. Let's build on this. Let's be consistent now. I honestly think, guys, our method to win this year at a high level, at least in the regular season, is going to be Jalen playing MVP ball. I honestly believe that. It's why I put it in my notebook, which I showed you all. It's why I was hard on him after week 6 when he wasn't an MVP level player versus the Giants or the Broncos. I think this is how we got to be, man. I think this is how we got to win games this year. Running game don't look the same. Offensive line's not the same. Defense isn't the same. That leaves Jalen Hurts in the pass game. So let's see it. We need more of it. All right? Love all you guys. See you next time, everybody.
You've been listening to Birds 365, the destination for the passionate Eagles football fan who bleeds green. If it's Eagles football, we're talking about it. Debate inside the locker room and guests that are some of the greatest football minds from around the region. We hope you enjoyed the show. We know we had a blast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hook up with us on social media at JAKIB Sports. See you next time on Birds 365.